Hello and welcome to the 67th annual Motocross of Nations. We're at the Talkessel circuit in Germany, in the town of Teushenthal. This is going to be a big one, folks. We have got tens of thousands, if not, well, I don't even know how. I don't know how to predict the size of this crowd this weekend, but they are absolutely covering every inch of grass around this hillside circuit. There is no room for maneuver. It's standing room only. The temperature has crept up from the 6 degrees they had in practice this morning. It's now a massive 13 degrees out on track. And this Motocross of Nations is going to be big. So the 67th annual FIM Monster Energy Motocross of Nations then returns to Germany for the first time since 1989, which was the 43rd edition in the history of this event. And it's now seen as the biggest race in the motocross calendar. Team Germany, well, they were victorious last year in the deep, deep sand of Lommel in Belgium, and they arrive here on home soil as the defending champions, proudly displaying the numbers 1, 2 and 3 on the bikes of Max Nagel, Ken Roxon and Dennis Ulrich. And as usual, the competition will be tough as the rest of the world is ready to knock them off their perch. Team USA, whose 7-year win streak was ended by Germany last year, will, as always, start as favourites and will be looking to add to their record number of wins, which currently stands at 22. A record entry of 40 countries entered, but we're down to 20 after the B final today. The final team that went through were Latvia, but yesterday in qualification, the Australians outperformed everybody and they will start on pole. Great overhead images of the circuit here at Teushenthal. For those familiar with this venue, you'll see that the start has been repositioned. That grey area now dropping down into what used to be turn 17 on the racetrack. And what a great aerial shot that is from our drone cam. Just, as we said a moment ago, wall to wall, jam-packed with spectators. There's a stiff breeze blowing out on the track. I will have with me during the broadcast American legend Brock Glover. We'll get to him in a moment. But before that, let's show you a quick lap around this Talkessel circuit as it looks after the revamp. As we said a moment ago, a newly positioned start. 1 or 2 other alterations on the circuit, but for the most part, the circuit is the same. Just another view of the finish line. Which team is going to be crowned champions this year? Well, USA, as we said earlier, all-time wins for them. Belgium second, Great Britain second, Belgium third, and Sweden tied for 2 with Russia and Italy, and then the Czech Republic down there with 1. You see the riders just making their way down to the start line, into their positions. We'll give you the start list in just a moment. Paul Malin here live at the 67th edition of the Monster Energy FIM Motocross of Nations. I'll be joined through the broadcast by American legend and 3-time winner of the Trophy of the Nations and 1-time winner of the Motocross of Nations in its current form, Brock Glover. I know you're working for Dunlop now. Great to have you here at the Nations. I know you frequent Europe on a regular basis, but good to see you here at an event that you've won at in the past.
Oh, thanks for being here. You're inviting me here. It's just incredible. This is one of my favorite sporting events in the world, let alone it is my clearly my favorite motocross event of the year. This is the Olympics of the sport and our pinnacle and exciting 60. You know, we're looking at the 67th annual event, and who knows who's going to win this one.
In your time racing in the Motocross of Nations event or the Trophy of Nations, did you ever ride in Germany? I think you did, maybe once or twice.
Yeah, I never rode the Motocross and Trophy of Nations in Germany, but I raced many times in Germany, and you know, the fans. What a terrific event to come back to Germany. First time ever Germany winning last year in 2012, and to come back here and to see the German fans coming out in droves, it's incredible, and I think it did a lot for the sport of motocross in Germany.
Well, as we see the riders out on the start line getting ready, we will be having a couple of national anthems. The first one will be sung here a cappella. That'll be the German national anthem, so we'll just sit back and enjoy this. A little bit windy out on track, though. So the German national anthem then kicking off here, trying to arouse the fans, particularly the German ones. And as you look at the starting list, Team Australia will start from pole with Brett Metcalf and Dean Ferris. Australia will start from pole then. Team USA second this race with Ryan Dungey, MX1, Eli Tomac, MX2. Belgium will go to the line third. Ken de Dijker, Jeremy van Hoorbeek. Germany with Max Nagel, Ken Roxon. Great Britain, Tommy Searle and Jake Nichols. Italy will have Tony Cairoli and Alessandro Lupino, with the French with Gauthier Paulin and Jordi Tixier. The Russians with Evgeny Bobryshev and Alexander Tonkov. The 15-second board is up. We're getting ready to go racing on what is a very windy day, but it's a nice, warm, sunny day at the same time. Depends where you stood, of course. If you stood directly in the wind like these girls are, then it might be a little different story. But the gate ready to drop here. Motocross of Nations 67 bursts into life. Downhill, the inside is Dean Ferris. Wow, what a great start for him. The Australians pulling a good start. He possibly pulls a hole shot as well. And the foxhole shot we will determine in just a moment. It is Dean Ferris of Australia. And once again, these guys are absolutely hauling. Ken Roxon in there in third place. Valentin Guillot, the MX1 rider for Team Switzerland, European 250 champion this year. He's in second position. Roxon slots into third place for Team Germany. And Tommy Searle, he's in fourth place. I spoke to him about an hour before the start of the race. He was going to go up the inside, and he's pulled that off. He's pulled it off a treat as well. He is in fourth place. Rui Gonçalves in fifth. Tonkov sixth. Lingard seven. Van Hoorbeek, Shimola, Lupino, Boutron. That's how they were at the first split, but they're coming over the line now. It might be all change again. The first split at the top of the first hill. So it's Dean Ferris. It's Australia, Switzerland, Germany, Britain, Portugal, Denmark. Then we've got Alexander Tonkov of Russia, Spain, Boutron, Van Hoorbeek, Belgium, Lupino, Italy, Dungey, the USA, the first guy for the USA down in 11th, Cairoli 12th, Bobryshev, Paulin, Tixier, Metcalf as they go through. Metcalf down in, and Eli Tomac down in 20th place. Brock Glover from Dunlop, and also a former Team USA member. What a great start for the Australians, picking up from where they left off yesterday, it would appear.
Yeah, it's amazing. Dean Ferris.
Has he gone down?
Huge swap. Barely saved it over that jump there, but to have a 250F MX2 bike get the whole shot, and here's Roxon up in third place right now. Their strategy seemed to work. Team manager Roger DeCoster apparently had Tomac pick first, and his strategy didn't work. Tomac was late off the line, and so now the American team has their, they have a tough row to hoe here, and they're gonna have to battle this whole race.
Well, I was talking to Gary Ben of Team Australia at the start of the race, and obviously now he's played that particular card for this race, but he said for this race we'll probably go and stick Ferris up the inside because Brett Metcalf can get a charge around the outside. So we're looking, I reckon Tomac is over here somewhere around about, middle of the gate. So he would have started there, and I think they would have put Dungey up the inside possibly.
So Dungey did have first pick. My stand corrected there, but that strategy didn't work either. So it's a tough one. It's up to the riders to get the jump out of the gate, and Dean Ferris obviously put his MX2 bike where it was yesterday. He's had now 2 starts, 2 great hole shots, and he's out running up front. His teammate Brett Metcalf is sitting back a little bit further, but he's going to have to work his way out of 17th to see if the Australians can come up and work to the lead.
Well, Dean Ferris here, Team Australia, number 29. He's got Valentin Guillot, number 55, Team Switzerland, riding an MX1 bike this weekend, riding a 350, not a 450. And Ken Roxon, who said he rode a little bit tight yesterday in his post-race interview, he said there's more to come from him today, certainly on home soil. Not feeling the pressure, not feeling nervous. Lives about an hour from here when he lives back in Europe, in his base. And he does not want to disappoint. He said he wants to go and win at least one of the races outright, which we've not seen since Ryan Villapoto, probably back in Budds Creek back in 2007.
2007, exactly. But you know what? That's not a, when he said that, everybody felt like that was a, I'd say cocky statement, but it's certainly, in his case, it's very, very plausible because, maybe in this one he's going to have a tough time running down Caroli, but he can certainly win the final race of the day with the MX3 riders.
Well, absolutely, but the other thing as well, it's a tight, twisty circuit. There's no big, long straights and big, dragways. Maybe the longest coming out of the final turn where they cross back over the start straight back towards the entry to pit lane. And that's just there in the background, so that's possibly the longest straight. There's Tony Cairoli, number 13, Team Italy. He was in 8th place last time around, but he's on the back wheel of Jeremy Van Horbeek, so he's gone by Rui Gonçalves and Casper Lingard. So Tony Cairoli, he was fast yesterday. He didn't quite find a way past Tommy Searle in the qualifying race. He was happy to sit there and settle for 4th position.
Yeah, but as long as they make it into the final, all the teams had a little bit of that. And then you were mentioning the advantage of the track for the MX2 bike versus the MX1 bike. And the downhill start is one more thing that's kind of an advantage to...
Ferris!
Well, Ferris, he just has a trip off the road.
So Ferris, it's Guillot then who leads. He's picked himself up back in 3rd position. Tommy Searle looked like he was about to go through, but he's managed to stave off the challenge. So Guillot now leads. Roxon 2nd, Ferris 3rd for Australia. And suddenly, the whole view that Ken Roxon has now, there are no MX2 guys in front of him, but you still have to chase down every single point. The point scoring system has changed. It used to be 1 for a win, 2 for 2nd, 3 for 3rd per class.
But now it's just how you finish on the track.
Exactly. So yeah.
Absolutely, and Roxon here, this is what he, not that he wanted to see Dean Ferris go off the road, but now he's got a competitor ahead of us that he feels like I can take this guy. If it were Caroli out in front, he'd be maybe a little bit worried, but I think right now Roxon's just going to get his lines and do the best he can to figure it all out, and then when the time comes, I think he'll go for that win.
Fastest man on track, fastest lap of the race so far. Tony Cairoli, he likes the timing screens purple, 143.2. Roxon was a 43.8, yes. So only 6/10 slower at the moment, but Cairoli, of course, coming through traffic. He is riding a 350. That's the bike he's favoured during the World Championship, but I think Tommy Searle has found a way past Dean Ferris. So there's Ferris up the back of his shot. He is in 4th place. There's Tommy Searle for Great Britain. He's now in 3rd position on that Kawasaki number 22. There, the green and gold of Dean Ferris, the Australian, the lead Australian at the moment. Where's his teammate, Brett Metcalf, down in 14th place. Let's give you a quick rundown. Obviously, you've got it down on the ticker on the bottom of the screen, but it's Valentin Guillot. He continues to lead. Number 55 for Switzerland. That's him leading Ken Roxon, number 2. Germany, of course, the defending champions. Dropping it down through the final turn. There'll be no change there, but there'll be a change for 3rd place. Tommy Searle now ahead of Dean Ferris, and we'll wait for the rest of the guys to chalk off the lap. 3 official laps complete. But Brock Glover, we were talking before we came on air, there was a stiff breeze starting to pick up, wasn't there? And we were kind of thinking, you know what, depending which way it's blowing will have an effect on how the riders deal with how they take off on the jumps. Going this way, for instance, where they are, if it's blowing from the side, they might have to correct their position. And you were saying the Americans don't really race in windy conditions like this.
You know, the one advantage they do have, most of the track runs up and back, and then it's just straight tailwind or straight headwind. It's the jumps that you see the guys are on now that is technically a crosswind, and for that...
Tomac?
No, it's BOBRYSHEV. He finds himself on the ground. Something that unfortunately he does a little bit too often, I think, in you know, popular rider. Just wish he'd spend a little more time on two wheels, huh?
Yeah. Well, he DNF'd the first race in the qualifier yesterday. Problem with the header pipe. It looked like the mechanics were certainly trying to kick it out. And but he's going to have to pick himself up. His teammate, Alexander Tonkov, in 17th position at the moment, riding number 32. But a great atmosphere all around this Talkessel circuit. Here is Valentin Guillot and Ken Roczen closing in, or doing his best to close in. Good to see, though, Brock Glover will probably talk about it in a moment. No advantage, really, between the bigger bikes and the smaller bikes, particularly around a circuit that is very, very twisty indeed. We've still got 22.5 minutes to go in race one. Ken Roczen continues to shadow Valentin Guillot as they drop downhill for the fourth time here. Over the Monster Energy finish line jump, Valentin Guillot of Team Switzerland is leading the 67th edition of the FIM Monster Energy Motocross Nations here in Germany. The guy behind him, number 2, Ken Roczen, defending champions, of course, after winning in Belgium last year. And I think Tommy Searle coming under pressure from Antonio Cairoli. So suddenly, the Italians are knocking on the door as well.
Yeah, Crowley's making his way through the pack where, if you know, you need the American man. Here's the pass for the lead right here. Ken Roczen goes into the lead in front of the home crowd of Germany.
Oh, and he gets stuck in a rut there.
Yeah, he certainly was trying to do a last-minute, maybe a retaliation pass there, and it wasn't working for him. But here's Roczen now. He's got free track ahead of him. He knows Cairoli's coming, and he's got to put the hammer down. Dean
Ferris got back into third place, actually, so he's done well to find a way back past Tommy Searle and shake off Tony Cairoli as well. So the Australian looking awesome out on track. His teammate Brett Metcalf is down in 13th at the moment, so that's going to be 13 plus 3, that's 16 points. As we look at Ken Roczen jumping up into the lead there. Ryan Dungey, lead American rider, he's in 11th.
And Dungey hasn't done anything basically from when he's been on the track. And fortunately for himself, Eli Tomac has made his way through from nearly 20th place, now sitting in 12th place. But Ryan Dungey hasn't passed a rider, I think, this whole race. And so if the Americans think they're going to win this thing, that better change soon.
Cairoli just found a way past Tommy Searle and going after Dean Ferris. Here's Tony Cairoli now, number 13. Team Italy, a 7-time world motocross champion, of course, 5 on the bounce in MX1 since 2009 for the Sicilian. But I was talking to Tommy Searle earlier today, and he said the track is so rough as Valentin Guillot loses his legs coming out of that final turn, allowing Dean Ferris to close back up. Ferris actually had his first ever Grand Prix here in 2010 as an MX1 rider when he was about 18, 19 years old, something like that. So he has a little bit of track knowledge. The most part of the circuit is the same as it was when he rode, but, in terms of the nature of the ground. But the start and 1 or 2 areas have changed. But he said, hey, that doesn't even matter. We're here to do a job. We're here to win, or at least get on the podium, So...
Well, let's talk about Ferris's. I mean, you're familiar with the team that he's riding for, certainly, in the Dixon team. And so in the paddock, the discussion in the paddock is they have the fastest MX2 bikes. And clearly 2 hole shots from Dean, not only in the MX2, but now he's done it against 450s. So
Dungey finding a way past Lupino, I think, here just now. Number 7, Ryan Dungey, the first we've seen of the American in a battle with Lupino. He's got teammate Eli Tomac following him
right
through as well.
Yep. And that was what the American riders need, because earlier than that, Lupino had actually made a pass, and that puts with Cairoli, that puts the Italians in a good position overall after this first race.
Well, let's just have a quick look as it stands at the moment in the nations classification. Team Italy lead the way on a massive score of 13 at the moment. Remember, it's the lowest score, but because of the nature of where Tony Cairoli and Alessandro Lupino are, they're leading the way on 13.
And when we get an update on this next lap, we're going to find out, because it looks to me like both American riders made it past Lupino, so they're going to drop a few, and then the Americans will move up a few, but we're going to see where the Australians and everybody, it's going to be real close here.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to just give you the rundown now before they do cross the line. Italy 13, Australia 17, Germany and Switzerland on 18, then Belgium 18 and USA 21, France 22, Great Britain 25. So Jake Nichols down in 20th place at the moment, and he's got a lot of work to do. So again, sticking the MX2 guy on the outside as the second choice Brit rider to go to the line. and he would have been at a disadvantage trying to get across all those 450s. But hey, for some guys it worked, you know. Tomac, we saw him buried in about 20th place when he came around on the first lap. Ferris, he was up the inside, he came out with the whole shot. Oh, Cairoli all over the back of the Australian. Ferris now, though, challenging for second, because Ferris is in second, Cairoli third. Guido's going backwards here. Tommy Searles just found a way past the Swiss.
Yeah, I'm sure Guido, that's a difficult position for him. He's not, you know, leading the best riders in the world. First motocross of nations. I'm sure it was a little unfamiliar for him.
Cairoli taking the short route, but Ferris trying to keep the momentum around the outside. I'm not sure how much of a circuit you've had to walk around here, Brock Glover, former US team member and winning member as well of the Motocross of Nations. But from when you stand in the middle, you can see how many, 4, 5 or 6 lines on the bank turns. The riders do have a lot to choose from, but invariably the shortest line is always the quickest line, but there are a lot of braking bumps going through there now, aren't there?
Absolutely, and the difference a little bit between the American racing and the European racing, they tend to groom the tracks more now in the United States, where the first moto in particularly, typically the fastest inside line, shortest way around, exactly. Crowley makes the pass around the outside because Ferris is caught up maybe in some more bumps from the inside than what was traditionally the faster line. And in the U.S., when they overgroom the tracks, they tend to be first moto, not a lot of passing. Second moto, similar to the GP tracks, where they get a lot more lines, a lot more choices, and the riders have more options, as you see all the lines here on the screen now.
Well, Tomac has made progress. He's now 8th. He's passed his teammate and passed Casper Lindgaard, the number 52. And there's a replay of Cairoli going past Dean Ferris. Ferris still in 3rd position, though. Tommy Searle in 4th. There's Claudio Di Carli, team manager for Rebel KTM Factory Racing MX1. David Philippots in the middle there in the white glasses. He's going to be riding Team Italy in the open category a little bit later on. Fastest man on track right now, Eli Tomac, 1:42.708. So
that doesn't actually surprise me. I mean, to be honest with you, I thought Eli was a little underwhelming yesterday, but I know he was riding conservatively because he knew it's not important. It was common for Tomac to be just short of Villopoto's times and occasionally faster than Villopoto. And Villopoto's obviously not here for America, but Eli Tomac many times during the outdoor AMA motocross series had faster lap times than Ryan Dungey.
That happens in the MX1, MX2 World Championship. MX2 always comparing like for like, with the best guys and all that kind of thing. But Max Nagel here, number 1, riding for Team Germany. He is in 16th position at the moment, or he's 15th now. He's found a way past Rui Gonçalves, and so too has Jeremy Seewer, the number 56 on the Suzuki. He's the second rider in the Swiss team. So just looking for his teammate, Valentin Guillot. He's in 5th position, so he obviously made a couple of mistakes in quick succession. Tommy Searle, though, Team Great Britain, knocking on the door of 29. Team Australia's Dean Ferris. And he's got the left-hand side as we come down the hill, looking for a move through. And Tommy Searle goes through. He's now in 3rd place.
Fantastic ride for Tommy. Just been riding strong for the last, yesterday and today. He's been going strong the whole time. Just obviously didn't have the start he wanted the first in part of the race, but his speed has been outstanding.
They were testing as well last week. He's finally switched from Pro Circuit suspension to running white power units this weekend. WPs front and rear. He said he's got a lot more confidence in it and the overall feel of the bike. He can turn the bike exactly how and where and when he wants to. So that is obviously having a massive effect in his confidence, even before the start of the weekend.
That's going to be, that was something, a discussion that I actually had in the paddock yesterday about going to the WP, and I happened to be sitting in the KTM paddock when that happened, and it was an interesting conversation. But next year, if he goes to the factory bike, then he's going to not be on the WP, so it's going to be an interesting move for him.
He's not a full factory rider. They will get factory assistance, so I still think they will have a little bit of say in what suspension they run, possibly. Obviously we have to see how that one works out. There's Eli Tomac. He's found his way he's up behind him is number 16, Gauthier Paulin. So he's just passed the Frenchman for 7th position. So Tomac here, number 8 on the red. Honda, riding Team USA, the lead US rider at the moment. Where's his teammate? Ryan Dungey. Well, now he's 2 places behind him.
Now Dungey's technically 2 places behind. On the board it says 1, but it can't be a good feeling for Ryan Dungey right now to be being gapped by Tomac. I mean, Tomac's got almost a straightaway on him now, and it's Ryan Dungey's going to have to step up his game. He's supposed to be the captain of the Team USA here, and if he's expecting to win this, he's going to have to step up his game. But as we see right now, Italy is still leading this, and Germany's in 2nd.
Van Hoorbeek down the inside of number 55, Valentin Guillot. So the Belgian, Van Hoorbeek, riding a 250 this weekend, dropping down from the 450. Normally racing the MX1 World Championship, of course. He slots himself up in a 5th position now, so he's the lead. Belgian Ken de Dijker is in 10th place. So again, when they come over the line this time around with 13.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go, we will give you a quick rundown. So when Van Hoorbeek pops the line now, it'll automatically update itself. But Roxon continues to lead. Cairoli second, Searle third. So that's Germany, Italy, Great Britain. Australian Dean Ferris is 4th. The Belgian Van Hoorbeek is 5th. The Swiss Guillot is 6th. And as it stands at the moment, we are looking at Team Italy leading the way on 14. Belgium on 15. Germany 16 with the USA tied 4th. So they've come up a couple of positions. Australia are 5th on 17. Great Britain down in 21st. And it's Switzerland, France, Austria and the Netherlands in 10th in the classification of nations. Just under 13 minutes plus 2 to go. Brock Glover, former Team USA member and winner of the Motocross Nations, still with me here in the booth, pointing something out on the screen.
Well, we got about a half a second difference between what Cairoli's doing right now. I mean, Cairoli's half a second quicker than Roxon on the track. And right now with a 3-second lead, it's not hard to figure out the math. In 5 or 6 laps, he's going to be right behind him. But he's now got Roxon clearly in his sights. And you know, being a past champion rider yourself, that's what you need. You need to be able to know that that guy's catchable, that goal is obtainable, and he's right in front of you, and you're going to be pushing extra hard.
You can't beat a bit of clear track.
Nope, and he's got it right now, and the only thing he sees behind him is the back, that red number 2 on the back of Roxon's bike, and Cairoli wants this win.
And as nicely done there from Tony Cairoli, just picking the front wheel up over those bumps on the entry to that rut. Not easy to do when you're facing a whole load of ruts like that, but look at the track is chewed up. That's one thing that the American riders don't face as well. They're going to get to ride one day now at the US Nationals. Obviously Grand Prix guys are used to riding practice and qualifying races on Saturday, 2 races on Sunday. Maybe that, I'm not saying that the guys are any less fit because of it, but it's just the nature of the track. It's completely different for the Americans and the Europeans, isn't it?
It is, you know. I mean, actually during the AMA races this year, Tomac took advantage of the short duration between the 2 races of many of the rounds, and actually seemed to have more conditioning than Roxon. So Roxon was always strong in the first moto. The second moto, it seemed to affect him a little bit more. But he's going to have adrenaline. He's going to be feeling the hometown crowd cheering him on. I don't see any, in the cool temperatures today, I don't see any issues with Ken Roxon's fitness at a race like this.
Well, just 11 minutes plus 2 laps to go. We're looking at Alessandro Lupino, and he at the moment is down in 13th place for Team Italy. Alessandro Lupino for Team Italy, number 14, just coming under pressure and under attack from the number 17 of Jordi Tixier, the MX2 rider for Team France, another guy that Team France possibly stuck on the outside as their second choice rider to go to the line. Gauthier Paulin, the teammate to number 17, Jordi Tixier there on the right-hand side. He is in 8th place. As it stands at the moment, Roxon has a 2.9 second lead for Germany over Tony Cairoli of Italy. Tommy Searle of Great Britain 7 seconds further back. Dean Ferris of Australia in 4th. Then we've got Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, Belgium. Eli Tomac now in 6th place for the USA. Valentin Guillot of Switzerland is 7th. Gauthier Paulin of France is 8th. Ryan Dungey, the American, is 9th. And Ken de Dijker of Belgium is 10. Then we've got Metcalf, Australia, in 11th. Lindgaard, the number 52 of Denmark, he's in 12th place. Then Alessandro Lupino, who we're looking at here in the blue, he is the second Italian in 13th place. Jordi Tixier of France, is just ahead of him. So it's all changed. Max Nagel working his way up into 15th for Team Germany, and then Jeremy Seewer, Alex Tonkoff, Jake Nichols of Great Britain in 18th, Jose Boutron of Spain in 19th, and Glenn Koldenhoff of the Netherlands in 20th position. In terms of the nations, well, we'll get to that in a moment, because Eli Tomac now on the Honda for Team USA, number 8 around the outside, second rider in shot. The left, as we look at it, has found his way right onto the rear wheel of Dean Ferris. This is for 4th place. And again, he lights the timing screens purple, the fastest lap of the race after 11 laps that time around. Great riding for Eli Tomac. Brock Glover joins me here. Brock, this is going to go right the way down to the wire between these guys, isn't it?
It is, and to put it in perspective, the fastest lap of the race was just turned by Eli Tomac, a 1:42.4. The next best time, you're looking at, well back at 1:44.2. So
on that lap,
yes, on this particular lap here. So Tomac is definitely on fire. He's trying to do his and he still at this point has the fastest race lap, and it's nearly half a second faster than Caroli. So Tomac has certainly found his stride. I think he was probably hoping his teammate would follow him along, but it doesn't look like Dungey's quite got that. But, Brett Metcalf is also, quietly running a solid race for Team Australia back in 11th.
Well, when we look at the times here, 42.4 compared to a 44.2 for Tommy Searle, that's 2 seconds quicker than the Brit in third place, and the gap is only 4 seconds. So he finds a way past Dean Ferris of Australia, as he's trying to do right now, Brock Glover. Nicely done there from Tomac, carrying the momentum in. Oh, he puts a squeeze on Ferris, and he goes through. And again, just wheeling holes and bumps, just using his technique and his ability just to smoothen everything out.
You know what? That's one thing about Eli Tomac. If you watch, he's early on the throttle, actually in the corner. He carries a lot of momentum with the throttle through the corner. And you said he's adopted similar technique, that we showed, Caroli showed earlier, coming in the corner. Instead of plowing into the braking bumps with your front fork, here he is. He's actually wheeling in the bumps, keeping it down. So it's we got to battle for the lead too, because Caroli is not going to be wanting. He's going to want to take the little thunder out of Roxon's hometown cheering here.
Well, that's it. He's obviously trying to slingshot on, nicely scrubbed there, barely off of the ground. Team USA are leading the way though in the classification, 12 points. So Tomac working overtime for Team USA. Germany are on second, courtesy of a 15th for Max Nagel, and this lead position of the number 2 here, Ken Roxon. Team Australia are third with 11th of Metcalf and the 5th of Dean Ferris as it stands. Belgium are 4th on 16. Italy are in 5th on 17. France on 19. Great Britain 21. Switzerland 25. And then after that, the rest of the nations are at it. 43 plus for the Netherlands and everybody else. So as it stands at the moment. But we are looking at Tony Cairoli having a sneaky look down the inside of his former teammate at KTM when he was based in Europe. And it looks like he's going to go through here, but not an easy rider to pass, Ken Roxon, but 250 versus 350 on some parts of this racetrack. It might just come down to how quick you get on the gas, how late you brake, and the line choice at the end of the day. Brock Glover, what do you think?
Yeah, and they're both are outstanding champions in their own right, and Caroli certainly shows that he's got some fantastic line selection. And again, Caroli's, I just think he's probably wanting, after last year's disappointment in the Motocross of the Nations, for their team.
Mistake there from Roxon.
Exactly. Roxon got hung up in the inside line. Caroli keeps the sweeping momentum on the outside, takes the lead.
Again, pulls the tear off as well as he goes by him.
Yep.
So the perfect opportunity there for Cairoli.
I think he's looking over at Ken Roxon right now saying, hey, ciao, Papa. We're out of here.
Yeah, catch me if you can.
Exactly.
But he's done a pretty good job leading the way out there since he found a way past Dean Ferris early on in the moto. But Tony Cairoli now finds himself leading. Of course, last year he won the nations outright in the MX1 category. The first time he's ever done that, 1-1. But look at that. Oh, he was in neutral.
Oh, he
stood up in the rut.
Yep, he jumped into the rut, and it looked like the rut caught the shifter and put the thing in neutral and put his bike in neutral. So that's disappointing, obviously, for Ken Roxon. But I don't know if it was postponing the inevitable, but it almost appeared to be. Caroli's just doesn't seem to be denied to get to the front of the pack here.
So 5.5 minutes plus 2 to go. We're looking at Ken Roxon now in second position. There he is, number 2 through that sweeping left turn. How far behind is Tommy Searle? About 5 seconds back. Tomac, though, is closing. He's now in 4th. He's about 3 seconds down. Tommy Searle was a 44.9 that time around. Eli Tomac a 43.3, so about 6/10, something like that. But
that's isn't that 1 point?
Actually,
exactly,
1 point.
Yeah, 1.5. But it's. Tomac's certainly on a roll right now, no question about it. And he had a good start. He had a good chance of getting a run for the win. But at this point, it's a team event. We know it's a team event. It's the first moto of 3, and every moto is going to count. Every rider is going to count.
Gauthier Borland's found a way past Ryan Dungey, pushing the American down to 8th place on the previous lap. So just trying to think what could be the situation there with Ryan Dungey, Brock Glover,
To be honest with you, I don't think he's been particularly happy with his bike the entire day. And sometimes,
Tomac up the inside of Searle, so he does take 3rd place there, there, sorry.
So just as luckily the Americans had lost a place there with Dungey, it looks like Tomac's going to try to keep the same point total going on here by making the pass on Tommy Searle.
Tommy Searle won't like the 250 coming past him. He's going to try and respond and go back after him, but he's got this slightly heavier 450 machine, a bit more power to deal with coming out of the corners. Tomac able to utilize the inside short burst of speed. I mean, that is probably one of the fastest, if not the fastest, Honda 250s I've seen in a very, very long time.
Yeah, the Geico Honda team, the AMA based, they run well, and no question about it. I mean, the Americans had to adjust to a little bit the different fuels, the quieter sound requirements here in Europe, but you know, talking to some of the technicians on the team, they says it's not nearly as bad as everybody thinks. Everybody acts like it's 4 or 5 horsepower. Honestly, it's maybe a horsepower.
I think, oh no, I just saw a flash of red there a moment ago. I thought that was maybe Ken de Dijker or Van Horbeek coming in, but they're a little bit behind. But as it stands at the moment, Cairoli leads. He's about 4 seconds clear of Ken Roczen. Third is now Eli Tomac of the USA. Fourth, Tommy Searle. Fifth was Dean Ferris. I expect him still to be there, a couple of seconds clear of Van Horbeek. And sixth, Paulin is 7th. Ryan Dungey is 8th. The Dijker is 9th. Valentin Guillot of Switzerland is 10th. Metcalf is in 11th. But America will be leading the way in the classification. Of course, we'll confirm all of that in a moment as well. But just about 3 minutes plus 2 to go. Alessandro Lupino here in blue on that green Kawasaki, riding for Team Italy. Has got Jeremy Seewer of Switzerland breathing down his neck. And these guys are fighting for 15th place. Remember, every point counts now. With Lupino there in 15th place. That's 15 points on the board for Team Italy, along with the number 1 of Tony Cairoli. So Cairoli can't do any more than he's doing, Brock Glover, and nor can, Ken Roczen. He's obviously the lead MX2 guy, but that looks like Tomac is suspiciously close. Where is he? He's whittled that down, hasn't he? He's right on the back of him now.
This is kind of, I'm going to say unbelievable, but I honestly, in the beginning part of the races, I thought it was going to be a really good chance for Ken Roczen to actually win this moto. Crowley, you know, it's not surprising Crowley comes up, but to see Tomac was in 20th place. We have to remember that. On the very first lap, he came by officially in 20th place.
Not looking
20th place to be right on the rear of the second place rider right now, Ken Roczen. And Ken had a lot of heartbreak losses this year by Eli Tomac, so he's a little bit of his nemesis, and I think the last thing he wants to have is Eli Tomac passing him in his home country of Germany. But
we're looking at the 2 fastest MX2 riders in the world right now.
Exactly.
Number 2, Ken Roczen, and number 8, Eli Tomac. Pick whichever order you want in terms of that. Oh!
Horrendous
catches
crash.
A big hole on takeoff. Eli Tomac had a Chad Reed moment there, flying through the air like Superman, and he is picking himself up, but that was an ugly crash for Eli Tomac. Great to see him picking himself up, but you know,
he has to wave off. That's a new rule that we talk about. You've got to make a gesture to say, I don't want help. Yeah. But he's got to get back in this race. You never know what's going to happen.
I was about to say that, you know, and watch this.
He looks like he catches his...
he tried to scrub. He lost the front, and look at that.
And, you know, it looked like a little bit of shadows on the face, but he tries to scrub, and the front end gets caught up in a rut.
I want to see it from the back one more time if we can, because that angle, I want to see it a little bit slower just to see where he lost the front end. But yeah, he's right, you know, trying to ward off, you know, the fans there from the side, just to say, no, I don't need your help, I don't want your help. That's a rule that we have in the FIM World Championship. But a big moment, Brock Glover. Fortunately for him, you know, it wasn't flying through the air, and a big downhill the other side.
It looks like it did almost no damage to the motorcycle and no physical damage to the rider, more importantly, for the Team USA riders. But I can tell you right now, this is probably going to be their throwaway moto, and it looked like it was going to be one of their better counting motos. If he could have found his way around Roczen, that would have been a solid finish.
Suddenly the pressure then on this guy here, Ryan Dungey, to perform for Team USA.
And right now he just...
Brock Glover, we just saw a big moment there from Eli Tomac. Ryan Dungey now, the guy in the hot seat for Team USA. Unfortunately for him, he's in 7th, and it's looking like Eli Tomac, if he can continue, he's down in 18th place, so he is still out there. He knows that every point counts. If he's not hurt, he will stay out there. If the bike's not damaged, he will stay out there. But so close to the end of the race, even if he's got no brakes, of course, he will have to stay out there and just ride around. If he's got no front brake, you know the score. Every point counts.
It does right now. Every point does count. And to have that happen with literally at the 29-minute mark is a complete disaster. I don't, you know, lack of focus, whatever it may be. Maybe he couldn't see so well. It looked a little bit of shadows on the bump there, but you know, that late in the moto, you don't ever want something like that to happen, but it did. And so now puts him behind puts him behind the 8 ball.
If it happens lap 2 or lap 3, you've still got 35 minutes in which to get back onto pace, but he's now down in 18th. It's difficult for him to, you know, he was 6 seconds down on Jake Nichols and something like that, the guy ahead of him. So with 2 laps to go, that might be just a slightly big ask for the American Eli Tomac, and like you said, puts the Americans right behind the 8 ball now in terms of what they need to do. However, the nature of the event, Brock Glover, 2 riders, 3 races, that's 6 scores. They can pick up their 5 best scores, throw away that race, but the pressure is on Team USA to perform now in the next motos.
Yeah, I mean, Team USA went from number 1 position to number 8 in the point standings, obviously the first race, and now Germany's back on top.
Germany, would you believe it, are leading the way in the Motocross of Nations on 13 points. Australia on 14, Belgium 14, Italy 15, France 17, GB are on 20, they're in 6th, and then it's 24 for Switzerland, 25 for the USA. So from 1st to 8th in the blink of an eye, or the loss of loss of traction or whatever it was, caught a hole or an edge or something, whatever it was, for Tomac. It's certainly applied the pressure now. They need to perform in the next 2 motos.
Yep, and
every point counts for them now.
And something happened on the track to the point where the USA actually slipped up. Now has moved up to 7th from 8th. But it's still it's not where they wanted to be. They could have been leading after Moto 1 to be in this position here. But Ryan Dungey better. He has to. He's got. If you want to be the team captain, you want to be the leader. You're going to have to make your way around Jeremy Van Horbeek here. And considering it's an MX1 bike versus an MX2 bike,
he's got 2 guys ahead of him. He's got Paul and Ferris here. So if he pulls his finger out at the start of the final lap, though, Kai Rowley, he's already over the line with a 47.3. Roxon, we wait for him to come through. 7.2 seconds later, 47.4. Roxon will be happy with that because he knows he'll have the confidence going into the last race to possibly pull an upset and win on an MX2 bike, but he needs to get a good start first. Searle is now 3rd for Great Britain. Ferris here for Australia. He's in 4th, having a fantastic Motocross of Nations this year on that MX2 Monster Energy Yamaha. Paul and Van Horbeek and Dungey all going through as well, so suddenly a lot of pressure on Dean Ferris in that 4th place because Paul and Van Horbeek, Dungey all within the space of about 2.5-3 seconds. Brock Glover, I wouldn't want to be in Dean Ferris's shoes now at the start of this last lap, would you?
No, I think he's got a lot of pressure, but, here's the situation. I mean, if Dungey looks like he's pushing hard, obviously, try to get Van Horbeek here, but if people were to critique Dungey's riding, they probably are likely to say he's not somebody who's going to step outside of his comfort zone. Yeah. He's not somebody who's going to put on that extra, effort, ride a little over his head or put that little extra charge in. But he certainly looks to be trying to do that here, but he's got to be careful. You don't want to go on the ground and suffer the same fate that his teammate Eli Tomac did.
And actually, Tomac's pulled to within a second of Jake Nichols, so he's still in 18th. Nichols in 17th for GB. So just remember, 18 points at the moment for Tomac. He takes Jake Nichols for 17th. That gives him 17 points, and it's the least amount of points. Wins the overall classification, remember. So here's Tony Cairoli, though. A couple more corners to go for him. Standout performance for him in the end. Just 2 corners to go. The final left-hander here. Team Italy looking good in the hands of Tony Cairoli, but his teammate Alessandro Lupino, as a result of Eli Tomac now in 13th place. That'll give them 14. But the flag goes out. Cairoli wins Moto number 1 here at Teushenthal, and he does it in convincing style as well by more than 7 seconds over Ken Roxon of Team Germany. So what a great race, and we wait for Tommy Searle. He goes through in 3rd, but Ferris over the line, Paul and then it was that Dungey found a way past Van Horbeek right on the final lap. So 6 points in the end for Ryan Dungey. Looking back a bit further, here's number 55. That is Valentin Guillot. Didaika already going in the opposite direction, so he's still going to be in 8th. Here's Valentin Guillot of Switzerland. He's going to be 9th. Brett Metcalf all over the back of him in 10th. Can he find a way through on the jump? No, he's just going to lose that drive. Not close enough, so it's going to be Dean Ferris on 4, Brett Metcalf on 10. That's 14 points for them. And, of course, we'll give you the classification at the end of the race just so you can see exactly where everybody is at. But what a great race. Your take on it all, Brock Glover, from start to finish, if you can.
I mean, Cairoli, does it ever get boring winning every time like that? I mean, it really, truly, it's kind of Europeans' counterpart to what Ryan Villopoto has done in the U.S. But Cairoli, fantastic ride. He never looked like one moment of uncomfortable riding was necessary to win that race. Surprising enough, Eli Tomac was probably one of the big surprises of the race, come all the way from 20th to look like he was going to take over 2nd place. Unfortunately, to go down for him. And just, fantastic. Yeah, and Tomac ended up getting 16th place. And Dungey, for the Americans, it worked out pretty good. Tomac got 2 riders, it looks like, on the last lap. Dungey got one rider on the last lap, so it did help save their salvage a little bit, but still, fantastic ride from Crowley. Roxon, home crowd, and, the Australians were surprising also.
Well, of course, some of these riders then going to have to go back to the drawing board to see exactly what they can do for Moto number 2. Tony Cairoli, though, no such problems for him. And, but the crowd out there on the bank, I think they've just been told by our circuit announcers that Germany continue to lead the way by a point after Moto number 1. It was a big deal for them to arrive here as the defending champions. And they're doing well at the moment, not letting the home side down. Germany lead. Valentin Guillot, Team Switzerland, picks up the Fox Whole Shot Award, €1,000 for him. It'll be €1,000 for the Whole Shot winner of race 2 and race 3, all courtesy of Fox, of course, this weekend. Look at that GoPro shot of number 2, Ken Roxon, not coming out completely straight, but just shows you the nature of the soil. But it was Guillot. I knew it was tight between him and Ferris. Not a lot in it, though. Look at that. Oh, how do you pick that one? How do you pick that one?
To me, I give it to the MX2 because he did it with half the engine displacement. But, that was awfully close. I'd like to see a slow-mo replay of that because it looked like a dead heat.
Yeah, very, very close. I mean, I know we will have eyes on the ground there as well. But tough one to call.
But again, let's point standings. Germany leading 13 points. Italy at 14.
I have a first classification coming up now. I think this will be the first race. Result individually: Tony Cairoli, Ken Roxon, Tommy Searle, Dean Ferris, Gauthier Paulin, Ryan Dungey. Slow progress from him. Started 11th and only finished in 6th. Could have been 7th had his teammate not gone down. Then it was Van Horbeek, and then didn't see the other guy. But Valentin Guillot, Metcalf, Nagel, Tixier, Lapino, Tonkov, Lingard, Eli Tomac, 16th. He was charging as well. He could have been 3rd, maybe even 2nd. He was closing right in on Ken Roxon in the closing stages of the race. And of course, we'll see the nations classification in just a moment as well, how the countries stand. And Germany, though, leading the way by 1 point. Brock Glover.
Fantastic, home crowd to have Germany leading it and have all the top teams kind of in contention, and probably, maybe on paper the favorite team, USA, would probably be. I mean, you got to give them credit where credit's due. They've only won.
Here's how it looks then after race 1. Germany lead the way by a point over Italy, who are 2nd. They're tied with Australia in 3rd. Then it's Belgium, France, Great Britain, USA and Switzerland. Those guys still all have a very, very realistic chance of winning the overall classification. Remember, every point counts. After that, the Netherlands, they're pretty much out of it after Moto number 1. So too Austria, Denmark and the rest. Brock Glover, former winner. We'll get back to you in a moment. Again, we'll just talk about the race, but we're going to get ready to go down and speak to our race winner from Moto number 1, riding for Team Italy, of course. That's Antonio Cairoli. Here's Amy. Here's Tony.
Tony, well done. Winner of this first race. Tell me, how was it out there?
That was good. I had a not very good start from outside. I was in top 10, so this was good for me already. Then I was trying to catch from the 10th place. I passed a lot of midi-match guys, but the track was a little bit hard, and I make a few mistakes in the beginning of the race. After I had some good laps and I could find some place to pass, then I catch Ken, and he make a mistake in the corner with neutral. I did like he did already last time when we raced here in Touchtal, if he remembers, with the 450. Yeah. And same thing, and I just go outside of him and I could pass. But I'm happy, also my teammate was 13, so he did a very good job, and hopefully we can make it to the podium this year.
We'll see you later for race 3.
Hello and welcome back to Teushenthal, the Talkessel circuit in Germany for the 67th edition of the FIM Monster Energy Motocross of Nations. Still about 14 degrees outside. Just looking out the window, still a bit breezy, but maybe not as stiff as it was, 18 kilometers per hour. We were just having that discussion a moment ago, Brock Glover and I, where who's going to be joining me again for the broadcast in Moto number 2, but because of the drone cam, we were thinking that thing's going to end up in Halle or Leipzig, just down the road in 30 k's in either direction. But obviously a little bit windy, but the track conditions are absolutely perfect. The crowd here just rammed to the brim, and we've seen great action out on track in Moto number 1, which was MX1 and MX2. We'll talk about that in just a moment or so, but the postcard looks like this. This is the local scenery of the area where we are. Halle down the road. Teushenthal is just a small village. Not much here, just houses actually, but after Moto number 1, coming into this Motocross of Nations, Germany on home soil are leading the way. They are on 13 points. Max Nagel scored 11. Ken Roczen scored a second. Team Italy, though, with Tony Cairoli, Alessandro Lupino, they came home second overall in the classification. Cairoli winning the race, picking up a point, and Lupino picking up 13th for the MX2. Australia are third, but they're tied on points with with Italy. And then Belgium fourth on 15, France on 17, Great Britain on 21, USA 22, Switzerland, Netherlands, and Austria. They're your top 10. Brock Glover joins me here in the booth once again. Moto number 2, which will be MX2 and MX Open. There's a quick look at the track, just over 1,500 meters long. Brock Glover, I tell you what, that first race was something else, wasn't it?
It was, and we just made a little pass through the press room, and it was a buzz with people talking about all the things that happened. Obviously, each journalist from their home country typing what they had, going through photos. We saw tremendous photos of a Tomac's crash, people talking about that, and it was an amazing thing.
MX2 and Open class. Let's have a word with some riders. We're going to sneak in over here and have a word with Dean first before he goes to the toilet. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Dean, you've been on it this weekend, and you've really come into your own this year. Really unlucky to miss on the top 3 spot in that first race.
I got 4th, but I'm happy enough. Australia's in top 3. I got a good start, pulled the whole shot in 250. I'm going to try to do that again and put in another solid race. And hopefully Todd and Brett, pull it together for the the last couple of races as well. And we'll see what happens. Hopefully we can be on podium. That'd be awesome. Fingers
crossed. I'll let you go to the bathroom. We'll carry on and we'll have a word also with Jeremy Van Horbeck, if we can get hold of him. Jeremy, hello. So after race 1, you're obviously back on the 250 this weekend. You said to me yesterday you were having to adjust your riding style. How was it out there?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I felt really good, I still missed, the aggressivity, but I rode a solid moto, and a shame that Gauthier and Dungey passed me last lap with the 450, on the long straight, but felt good and just going to try to do even better now.
How's the track feeling?
Track is okay, but it's really fast, and
Is that with the new start?
Yeah, it's just similar, it's fast and lines and it's difficult, but feeling good still, and 30 minutes more and my work is done.
Absolutely, best of luck. I can see him just behind. Let's see if Eli will. Eli, can we grab a quick word? Sorry to interrupt you. We want to check how you're feeling. That was a big moment there in the first race.
Yeah, I felt really good early on there, and just ended up making a really big mistake. Obviously went flying off the bars, and luckily for me, I am back here for Moto 2.
Physically,
you're a little bit dinged up, but I'm okay. I should be able to do all right.
Well, fingers crossed for the second race. I'll let you get on. Right, that's all from us here down the start line.
Of course, then the riders went out in their sighting lap, but Brock Glover, good to see Eli Tomac just playing ball there, and grabbing a quick word with him. We'll talk about that in just a moment, but yeah, good to see him out there for a start.
Yeah, it could have been horrendous.
So Brock Glover, we just heard from Eli Tomac there, the start of MX2 and MX Open. That's going to be race 2. A little bit dinged up, but could have been worse. Obviously, Amy Dargan was the last person he wanted to speak to there, but he obliged, and good to see that he is okay and is ready to start.
You know, if you're an American fan of Team USA, I think you would have liked to have had a little bit more positive, yeah, I'm fine, I'm ready to go, but there seemed to be a little skepticism in his voice there, but hopefully he's just kind of playing cat and mouse.
Well, we were talking as well during the first broadcast how Eli Tomac came under the rear wheel of Ken Roczen during the race, how in the Nationals he used the short breaks between motos to get himself into a good position to challenge Roczen for the win, you know, heartbreak wins or losses from Roczen's point. But we were just trying to work out, we had about 45 minutes between motos here for the MX2 guys, you know. Obviously, they've not had a lot of time. You know, you've got to get back, you've got to get the bikes washed, prepped, and everything else. Try and get a little bit of food down you and get yourself back in the zone. It's not easy, this Motocross of Nations business, is it?
Not particularly for the MX2. They have it the most difficult. And, well, and also the open class will have to ride back-to-back also. But they're less than an hour from the time they take the checkered flag to the time they have to, start. But you have to remember, they got to get back on the bike. They've got to get up to the starting line. They got to fix their starting spot.
Sighting lap and everything
sighting
else.
lap and everything included. So it's probably not much more than about a 20, 30-minute moment where they're sitting down in a chair, changing jerseys, cleaning up, changing helmets, goggles, things. So it's going to be very difficult. And during the AMA Nationals, if history can help us here at all, Eli Tomac was the benefactor of these short breaks in America. But it's also a lot hotter, a lot more humid weather, and we weren't on German home soil where Roczen is. So.
The 15-second board is up here. We're getting ready to go racing once again here for the 67th edition of the FIM Monster Energy Motocross of Nations. Eli Tomac looks like he's in the inside for Team USA. 5-second board goes up now. Dave Nicol, our FIM race director, looks like it's stacked with MX2 guys up the inside this time around. Put the weakest guy up the inside, but Dean Ferris again on that Yamaha. Roczen alongside him, and Sean Simpson, I think, for Great Britain in third place. We've got guys going down, and who's that? We've got Valentin Guillot there, and Colden Half. We've got one of the New Zealanders, 44. I think that's Lamont. Who else? Oh, Dennis Ulrich of Germany goes down. So this is going to be maybe their throwaway ride. Who knows? But wow, already an interesting start there. So, but Roczen, Dean Ferris, an MX2 rider for Team Australia, he is leading the way.
And it's an MX2 parade. You've got one first, second, and third place right now. Ferris, Roczen, Tomac running 1, 2, 3 in this second moto against the open class.
This is going to be a great race. Obviously, we saw how fast Tomac was. Roczen said in moto number 1 he was struggling with arm pump and cramps, that kind of thing. He's only had about 30 minutes to get rid of that feeling in his arms. But look at this. It's, as you say, an MX2 fest at the moment. Dean Ferris, Ken Roczen, Eli Tomac, Justin Barsha, the first of the open class guys there in fourth. So Americans riding line astern at the moment. This could be their best moto, their best opportunity to get back on track and back on point. Brock Glover.
Yes, on the first lap, and if you're a Team USA fan, you're clearly taking a little bit of a sigh of relief. You've got your riders running third and fourth right now. Barsha did what he needed to do. He's the top open class rider, but this still, you got 30 minutes plus 2 laps, and as we saw last time, 30 minutes, the 2-lap board came out, and that was when Tomac had his problems. So this thing's not over till it's over.
No, we just saw there as well. Ken Roczen going through, never mentioned it's just early stages, but Sean Simpson getting a good start as well. He was in about 5th or 6th position, but back with our leaders. Ken Roczen, listen to the noise through here. Replay of the start. No, that was the pass. Took him high and wide. Tomac there in third, Barsha in fourth, so looking good for the USA at the moment. Tonkoff in around 5th place as they drop round through the chicane and over Tomac's Hill. I think we're going to have to call that.
It is. And Sean Simpson and Jake Nichols is sitting back in right now in 10th place. So the Team Great Britain, I mean, they're many times champion, only second to, a 16-time champion, I guess. And so they're feeling comfortable where they are also.
Getting ready to get these guys over the line next time around. 2 corners to go. Roczen looking to try and make a break of it. He knows exactly what's coming behind him. Eli Tomac, if he's ahead of him, he knows he's you know, his nearest rival in the US Championship is going to be right behind him. So here's Roczen, a little bit short on the landing. Ferris, a little bit long on the landing. Tomac times it just perfectly as he looks to find a decent rut. So it's Roczen, Ferris, Tomac, Barsha, Simpson, Tonkov, Tano Leok, Jordi Tixier as Tomac looking for a way through, and he finds a way through up into second position then. So Dean Ferris looking to respond here. Oh, and he does so immediately. Thought there was going to be a little bit of bar banging action going on there, Brock Glover, but Ferris not close enough, and it's very early to challenge, especially with an aggressive move like that where both guys could go down. Tomac certainly doesn't need that second time around, does he?
No, he doesn't. I think he's goal one, stay off the ground. Goal two, you know, you can say what you want, you can sugarcoat it, you can be as politically correct as you want, but I can tell you right now, they both, Roczen and Tomac, want to win this race overall.
Just looking at the riders as they go through that first turn. Good start there from...
Yeah, that looked like Simpson in the middle, was it? Is that what that was?
Simpson's here.
Okay, it was Nicholson. It was somebody in the Great Britain team, but I am dumbfounded. They talk about how fast that bike of Ferris's is. It's fast. I mean, it clearly jumped out. He wasn't a half a bike length ahead, and was clearly got the whole shot. And we're looking at the crash here with
a bunch of guys going down, but yeah. Well, back with the leaders then. Roczen, Tomac, Ferris, and Barsha dropping down the hill. Barsha's first ride, of course, he was out for the last race yesterday, MX Open qualifying. He had a 20-minute warm-up at around about 9 o'clock this morning. Hasn't been out on the track since. So, of course, you know, that's a long time. With the B final going out as well for the race, the track has changed a big deal since they went out for practice this morning.
But one thing about the open class riders, I mean, yesterday they were at the end of the day, and they saw the track in the rough conditions. Some of the earlier riders who rode their qualifying heat, like the MX1 riders, they rode it early. So they haven't seen this track as rough, and now they're going to be faced with their final moto with it this rough.
All the sectors are lit up purple as Barsha keeps it nice and low and goes past Dean Ferris. A lap later, and exactly the same place as his teammate Eli Tomac went through to go into second. But Eli Tomac, the fastest rider on track, the gap between him and Roczen just 1.2 seconds, a 43.2 lap time, and all the sectors faster than anybody else on track.
Yes, I mean, early in the race, obviously, but when you mention the sectors lineup, you know, first, second, and third section, and overall fastest lap. So Tomac puts that in the bag early, and we'll see if he can continue to run that hard the whole race.
Right, let's give you a quick rundown. There is Commander Sal, number 6 for Belgium. So the open class rider who was so fast in the open qualifying yesterday disappeared, left everybody behind in his wake. He's on the charge and on the move, and so too is Eli Tomac, and almost a deja vu moment between these two guys.
Exactly where they met last time in the ill-fated moment of Eli Tomac's first moto. But again, also, it's going to be interesting to see if DeSalle can come up and run with these guys. He's clearly fast enough, he's clearly got enough experience, and he's made his way up to, he's battling for 7th now, and I think he's probably... by the time this lap's over, he's going to have taken 7th place.
Well, Roczen was saying that he would love to win a moto outright, but he's got his hands full of Eli Tomac at the moment. So Germany versus America, Barsha 3rd, Ferris 4th, Simpson 5th, Tonkov 6th, Tano Leok 7th, Jordi Tixier 8th. DeSalle was 9th at the end of lap 2, but getting around to come to complete. He might be ahead of Tixier, and we'll see what his lap times are. Another fastest lap, and that gap half a second between Roczen and Tomac as they came through at the end of the 3rd lap.
Yeah, DeSalle has moved up to 7th against that one. And if there's anybody, it's going to be interesting. This is going to be a little psychological warfare between these two top guys, because if there was anyone, at least in the AMA series that Roczen and Tomac competed, that had Roczen's number, it was Tomac. And I think it frustrated Roczen many times, even in Supercross and also in the AMA Motocross Outdoor Series. There were times it looked like Roczen was going to be a clear winner, and only to have, you know, the victory snapped right out of his hands with Tomac getting him towards the end of the race. So, you know, I know Roczen would love to win this thing. Is it added pressure? Will it make his arm pump worse that he's suffering? It very well could. So we'll see what happens right now. And I think Tomac, having come from the back of the pack, is going to be riding in a more loose state.
Nice line there from Roczen, wide and sweeping in through that final turn to drop it back into the first turn.
You're not going to see a lot of scrubbing from Tomac at that section anymore, I promise you that. But
yeah, but we've seen the images. A couple of journalists down in the press room have got still images from the back and from the side, and I don't think it was a scrub that went wrong. Maybe he just took his eye off the ball, caught a hole in the shadow there, and obviously approaching at speed and just couldn't react in time. Well, we saw the crash, from the back on our cameras from both angles. So, very lucky to get away.
Yeah,
a little bit dinged up, but he's okay.
Yeah, we had the luxury of watching it in frame by frame too, and a couple of photographers had fantastic shots. And it does. I'm not making excuses, but it does kind of appear that one of the big Monster Energy cans, there was casting a shadow on the face of the jump. So we don't know if that could have affected Tomac's vision or sight. Did he try to change the line a little bit, not see a bump that was there? Who knows what really caused the oh no!
Ulrich's down again.
This is for sure going to be a throwaway. We've got a
number 12. That's Heron Bracker of the Netherlands. So 2 MX1 guys. I'm not sure if this is definitely going to be the throwaway, like you say. That's actually over Tomac's hill, over on the far side of the circuit, going into turn 2. So obviously catching one or two riders.
It was Dennis Ulrich. It was the German rider. So clearly the team that was leading the points coming into this moto is going to have to use that as their throwaway race, and that puts the added pressure on Roxon and Nagel in the next final race.
Brock Glover, you've been here for the whole of the weekend. The ground was pretty soft when we arrived. The ground is now coming pretty hard, pretty slick. These ruts are drying all the time. They will put water down between the races. In terms of tyres, what guys are these going to be using now? Intermediates or intermediate hards? Just real quick.
Combination of stuff. Intermediates, most of the guys, intermediate soft were some of the riders, but Tomac was the exception. He tends to run a more intermediate hard pack front tire.
Dennis Ulrich or Heron Bracker just being seen to there, just on the downside of Tomac's leap, where Tomac crashed in moto number 1. There were 2 bikes involved in that, so I don't know exactly how that happened, but hopefully those guys are okay, and at least both guys get back in a race. But certainly from a German point of view, you need Dennis Ulrich to get at least a result from moto number 1, which is this one for him, or his second race. So he was the one that was looking like he was in the most discomfort. Bracker was keen to get back on the bike, but putting his head down, the number 32 of Alexander Tonkov, still trying to tail Sean Simpson. He is in 6th, Sean Simpson, Tonkov 7th. So give me a quick rundown with 20 minutes plus 2 to go as we look at the 21 of Tanel Leok of Estonia. Ken Roxon, 3.7 seconds clear of Eli Tomac. So Germany from USA. Justin Barsha of America is 3rd. Dean Ferris of Australia is 4th. Clement de Sal of Belgium is in 5th, just 2 seconds down on the Australian. Sean Simpson of Great Britain, 3 seconds back in 6th. Tonkov of Russia is 7th. Tanel Leok, 8th of Estonia. 9th, Filipino of Italy. Jake Nichols is 10th. So we are looking for Philipparts down in 18th place at the moment. And a personal best, fastest lap of the race for Ken Roxon, a 1:42.8. That's still 6 tenths, 5 tenths, half a second slower than Eli Tomac's fastest lap on lap 3, 2 laps ago.
But more importantly, to me, is that the last lap that Roxon did was his personal best, and Tomac struggled on that lap. He's almost 3 seconds slower than his personal best. So what happened in just 5 laps of the race, I'm not sure how Tomac can set his fastest lap time on lap 2 or lap 3 and then turn around 2 laps later. He must have made a good mistake. The one rider that I'm watching personally right now is Clement de Sal. I think he's going to end up coming up and overtaking Barsha. He just seems to have a lot of speed right now, and I think I think the Team USA team manager Roger DeCoster and his crew just telling Barsha, just keep calm, youngster, and make sure you post a good number here. Anywhere in the top 5 we're happy with. Just get one in the bank. We can't afford any mistakes here.
Alessandro Lupino, Team Italy, number 14. Looks like his roll-offs are hanging off the side of the goggles there. He's certainly got film. Was that just the tear off still attached to the lens there, flapping in the wind? Difficult to see, but he's trying to find a way past the 20 Leok, number 21 of Estonia, obviously looking to do that. Tell you what I am looking at, though, one of the pre-race favourites, Team France. Their guys are down the order at the moment. Christophe Charlier is in 15th position in the open category. Jordi Tixier on the 250, just behind him in 16th position. So 14th and 15th have just moved up a position as they came over the line.
Yeah, not the result that France was hoping for in this particular race. But, again, all these things, it changes. The final race is the one that it changes, and it's still a long ways from over.
Just looking at the open qualifying heat yesterday, Clement de Sal, fastest lap of the race yesterday, 1:44.559. The fastest lap of the race so far, 1:42.3, and obviously Tomac on a 2:50. So, you know,
and considering the track's much rougher now than it was earlier, the numbers you're seeing right now that Roczen and Tomac are posting, and Tomac's back on the pace with Roczen here. It was interesting, they actually slipped up, but now they're running 43.4s, 43.8s. You know, Roczen's not going to give this one up easily, and I think Tomac better put his head down and get going here.
So Dean Ferris then here, coming under pressure as we thought he would, eventually from the number 6 of Clément de Saux of Team Belgium. And when they come over the line, we'll get the first 10 or 12 guys over the line. We'll see exactly how the things are stacking up, but not a lot in it between the times between Roczen and Tomac. Another fastest lap for Roczen personally, but what, 500ths of a second in it between Roczen and Tomac. Tomac just slightly quicker, but here's Dean Ferris, 29 of Australia. He's got his hands full of Clément de Saux, the Suzuki rider from Belgium. Oh, I tell you what, he was lucky not to catch that lip as he came through that sand, and it lit up on him there, Clément de Saux. Can't afford any mistakes. We'll get the first 15, 16 guys over the line because they're the guys we're looking at. Also, even Philipparts, who's down in 18th position. Oh, look at that lap from Tomac, 1:41.507. That's even quicker than de Sau's lap yesterday.
Well, that was a segment time, and Tomac just first section time, that was his fastest of the race in that first section. So we'll see what it translates to after he gets the other two sections, obviously. But I am very impressed right now with what Roczen's doing. You know, he talked about his arm pump. He talked about not really, inexplainable, why his arm pumped, what he's got going. He's not sure what's going on with him. And now all of a sudden it appears he clearly doesn't have arm pump, or he wouldn't be able to be turning his fastest laps on laps 6 and 7 of the race. So
and we were talking in the first broadcast as well, Brock Glover, you and I, where you said the short recovery period between race 1 and race 2 in the AMA Nationals has been favouring Eli Tomac this year. And when you've got Roczen talking about arm pumps and cramps and that kind of thing in moto number 1, when you saw Tomac right on the rear wheel, when we saw Tomac on the rear wheel of Roczen in moto at the start of this race, you're thinking, right, any moment now he's going to go through, he's going to feel fresh, depending on the the crash that he had a moment ago in moto number 1. But as you say, Roczen, the surprise at the moment. Not surprised that he's leading, but de Saux ran the outside.
Yeah, de Saux had a smooth line there, a little more power to run out of the corner, and I think he's going to own the corner or the inside here, but we'll see what happens.
Ooh, I tell you what, Bosch is not too far ahead.
No, it's not, yeah. Earlier I was expecting, I think de Saux, nothing happens, obviously, the race isn't over, but I expect him to finish this thing in at least 3rd place. He's a strong rider, and he's running strong pace right now.
Well, in terms of overall nations wins, of course, Team USA hold the record. They're on 22, Great Britain on 16, Belgium on 14, and then it's Sweden on 7, Italy on 2. Germany have 1, France also have 1, but Italy haven't won since Spain, Belpucci in 2002. France haven't won since 2001 at Namur. That's their only victory. And Dean Ferris riding with the radar on. De Sau's not going to like that. He'll run it down the inside. He does like a hard move or two, does Clément de Saux, the Suzuki rider there in the yellow, number 6 for Belgium. He might get impatient in a minute if he's not careful, because he will know that, I don't think he's got a chance of winning the race. He's 22 seconds down. There's the move.
Yeah, there's where the 450 has the advantage on the bikes. When you land off a downside like that, the quick acceleration, that short burst, the 450 bike definitely has a little more muscle there, and that's where de Saux was able to use it to his advantage to get by Dean Ferris.
You say 21 seconds down on our race leader Roczen, so I don't think with 14 minutes to go he's going to be a threat for the race win. That's we're 9 laps in the second race. Race 1 was how many laps actually? 19 laps. So another 10 laps. So at least needs to be a second lap quicker to get it down to 10 seconds. So that gives you some idea of the mountain that Clément de Saux has to climb just to get on terms, or even close to getting on terms with Ken Roczen and Eli Tomac.
Yeah, I don't see it happening right now, to be honest, unless they tangle with each other. But here's the situation. Some people, de Saux and Barsha, they've raced each other this year. De Saux came over and rode 2 rounds of the AMA. He rode the round in Lakewood, Colorado, the previous site of the Motocross of Nations, not too far ago before. And he also rode the race, the new track in Tennessee, and qualified, I think, 2nd that day and rode quite well. So they're no strangers to each other, but, you know, to be honest, Desaul's been riding pretty good. Barsha's been a little inconsistent this last 4 or 5 rounds, and it seemed the moment he was selected on the Motocross of Nations team, he almost went into a little bit of a funk, and he wasn't riding very well. So people were like, come on, now's not the time to ride poorly. But, you know, here's Tomac. Now he said he's, as you quickly pointed out, his fastest race lap on lap 9. And a full second faster than Ken Roczen, and now the gap is down to 2 seconds. But we're going to see what happens here. I mean, Tomac's very capable of and has done many times his fastest lap in the last few minutes of the motos in the AMA races.
Van Hoorbeek just found a way past Sean Simpson. So Jake Nichols 9, Van Hoorbeek now 10th, Sean Simpson 11. So the two Brits were there, sort of mid. Where are we? Barsha. No, Tomac here.
Yep.
So Tomac, number 8. How far now is he? Oh, he's opened up. That gap's gone open again. It's 2.6, so he's lost half a second somewhere. Maybe back markers, a little bit of traffic coming into play.
Yep. But Tomac's usually pretty good with back markers. You know, if I had to critique one of the Team USA riders, it's a little slow getting around back markers. It'd probably be, you know, Ryan Dungey. But you know, I think Tomac doesn't want to make a mistake. I can tell you that right now. He's not after doing the first race when he had his big error, but we'll see what happens. And again, Ken Roczen, amazing run so far right now. It just after the first 2 laps, we clearly would have thought that Eli Tomac was going to take the lead, and it's not happened.
Well, Ken Roczen then, with just over 11 minutes plus 2 to go, continues to lead. He's 2.5 seconds clear of Tomac. Barsha is 3rd. For Team USA. Desaulles of Belgium is 4th, but he's close to within a second of the American Justin Barsha. Dean Ferris of Australia is in 5th. He's got a big gap, back 13 seconds back to Alexander Tonkov, who's having his own battle, the Russian, with the Italian Lupino. There's Tony Cairoli. He was the winner of race 1, which is MX2 and MX1.
Now turned into a cheerleader for his teammates. I mean, the interesting point when I look at the board right now, I noticed that Justin Barsha's fastest lap was on lap 4, but I see Tomac's was on lap 9, Roczen's on lap 7, Desaulles is on 7, Ferris is on 7. Only Barsha seemed to have had his fastest lap a little earlier.
So maybe just starting to get into it, Justin Barsha.
Right.
So with 10.5 to go, Roczen, Tomac, Barsha. That's how it stands. Nason's classification then after, well, halfway through moto number 2, we're looking at the USA, 2 points clear of Belgium, Italy, Great Britain now 41. It's a high-scoring nations, this team event this year, Brock Glover.
It is. I mean, I rode back in the era of the 4-rider teams and things, and there were times we had minimum scores. It's different now. I mean, the riders are competitive from all over. You know, it's not the same, obviously. They count, you know, every single point at this point. But I'm looking at Desaulles. If Desaulles takes over Barsha right here, then we're tied. And we're tied on 28, I believe. Yep. So it's they need Tomac. USA needs Tomac to get around Roczen.
But then that'll be 1 for 1, won't it? Because if Tomac goes past Roczen, that pulls it, you know, 1 point clear, and then Desaulles goes past Barsha, it just levels it all square again.
Exactly.
In that respect, or where we are now.
But if it doesn't happen, then Belgium and Team USA are all level.
Just take a look at those scores again as we're looking at Justin Barsha just coming under attack here from Clement de Sal. Just wonder how this one's going to play out. 9 minutes to go. He's knocking in the lap times. He's closing. There's his mechanic Mark Verpalen there on the right in the red. 27 points, Team USA. 29 Belgium, 39 Italy, Australia 41. So they're 2 points off the podium. France are on 43. Great Britain are on 44 as it stands. And Germany have gone from being top to dropping down to 7th with 54 because Marcus Schiffer, Dennis Ulrich, he didn't complete the first or second lap after crashing with Heron Bracker of the Netherlands, who's circulating in 37th position, or at least there, if he's pulled into pit lane, that's where he was.
Germany can obviously recover quickly if they have 2 solid motos in the final race, and then that throwaway 40 doesn't count, and it just changes so fast. It's never over till it's over, and we're going to see right now what's going to happen with Desaulles and Barsha, and then you're going to have obviously Tomac and Roczen. So that seems to be the 2 battles.
Well, like you said, you know, if they recover and get 2 decent scores in the final race, this is exactly what the USA have done. They went from, you have the classification after race 1. Team USA was 7th. They're top of the pile at the moment. Yep. You know, recovering well with Tomac in second and Barsha in third, as Lupino of Team Italy this time looks to find a way past Alexander Tonkov, who's making it very difficult for him. Side by side, he's on the right line though, going over the jump into the left-hander, and he pulls the pass and makes it stick and drops up into 7th position. Alessandro Lupino, he's on that green Kawasaki, number 14 in the blue shirt. And he's the lead rider in that particular shot. But look how close it is between Barsha and Tomac. Barsha and DeSalle. He was the top American for me at Lommel last year at the Nations, was Justin Barsha. He got that third in the very tough conditions, the third and final moto, when people maybe didn't expect him after Blake Baggett and Ryan Dungey maybe weren't performing at their best. But here he is putting in a solid performance. You know, Brock Glover, it's kind of, is it because he's young and maybe just a little bit more fired up? How do you see it with Justin Barsha?
Well, actually, I mean, Justin having been here and experienced the whole Motocross Nations at Lommel, I think he learned a lot there, and he realized, you know, after tangling early, I think it was with Diker.
Almost off.
Another Tomac moment for a red, white, and blue Honda. I don't think that's what Roger DeCosta or any of those guys want to keep seeing on the monitor.
Well, that was another moment there. And that's allowed DeSalle to close right in on the rear wheel of the number 9, Justin Barsha, who looked to be in control there. That gap no more than a second apart. Now maybe just feeling the heat a little bit. Got the radar on, goes square on in the corner. DeSalle won't like that. He'll say, you know what, you want to play hardball, bring it on. Because that's the kind of rider that DeSalle is as well. So, easily ran the outside though for Team Belgium. And up into third place goes Clément DeSalle. How much of a reaction will that get from number 9, Justin Barsha there on that red Honda riding for Team USA? Brock Glover, you see these guys week in, week out at the US Nationals. You know him probably better than anybody over in Europe. What do you think?
I honestly think, I mean, DeSalle is clearly riding faster. I think Barsha just needs to try to pick up a couple of the lines that you saw. But here's another one right here. This is just this jump has now turned into the nemesis of Team USA.
He did well to hang on to that.
I think they need to stop the scrub technique, you know, that's so prevalent in the AMA racing. When you can't see going into the sun and you're faced into a shadow like we talked about earlier, you just need to get
maybe caught something again like
Tomac, you just need to figure out what you need to do. Now with this pass, Team Belgium has now taken over the lead and put Team USA down with Italy sitting in third.
There must have been another pass there somewhere as well then, because that was only one pass, wasn't it? Roxon, Tomac, DeSalle, Barsha, Ferris, Leop, Lupino, Van Hoorbeek is still there in 8th.
Yep, it must have been. It must have been Van Hoorbeek must have got somebody there, because at this point right now, I mean, the one thing is for the lead here, we're going to watch this on the screen here. Tomac's, I think, kind of buying his time. He's now less than 1 second off. He's 0.8. 8/10 off of behind.
We don't even need a stopwatch for that. There's the gap, just the length of that short tabletop into turn 7.
Yep, we're looking on the monitors, not a very big monitor, and they're both clearly in the screen, so that's, like I said, doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that one out. Even an ex-motocross racer or two.
With fading eyesight, both of us. Well, this is a battle then. 4.5 minutes plus 2 to go. Deja vu for Ken Roxon and Eli Tomac. Eli Tomac of the Team USA has worked extremely hard to get back on point with the rear wheel of number 2, Ken Roxon of Team Germany. They're both inside the back marker there, coming over the Monster Energy crest into the shadow of the sun. We saw a live GoPro image of Ken Roxon at the start, and the far hill there, just at the top of the screen, dropping up into that bank turn. How the sun is going to be sweeping around there for the third and final race. That's going to play, well, I don't know whose advantage, but the crowd getting amped up here and getting very vocal. Tomac senses a victory here. He would love to do that to Roxon on home soil. Roxon has said that he can win a moto here. Well, if he thinks that, Eli Tomac must be thinking exactly the same. And Brock Glover, we have a bit of a showdown between these two guys. Again, not the first time for these two during the year. They race each other week in, week out, back home in the US, Supercross, and of course outdoor in the AMA Nationals. But Roxon would so love, he would be disappointed if he were to lose it now, so close to the end of this race, wouldn't he?
Absolutely, and you've been in the position when you've won a championship in Motocross of Nations, and I know I have. I mean, my very first exposure to the sport.
Looking for a move. Side by side over the jump here. Yep. Roxon takes a look over his shoulder, realizes how close Eli Tomac is, who's going around the outside. Has he got the move on the inside here? Sorry to cut over you there, Brock. No, these two guys are just going at it now. This is great.
Yeah, this is the type of stuff here you just sit back and watch. You don't even need commentation. It's commentation. If you're tuned into us right now you're a motocross fan, and this is what you came to see right here. Tomac whipping it around the outside there, do a little scrub on the outside. He's carrying a lot more speed, but he has so much more ground to cover that it's not effective for the pass.
Sal, not even over the line yet in third place for Team Belgium, right in the 450, the open class machine. Now he is 36 seconds down on this battle here.
Well, if this is the future of motocross worldwide, you're in good hands watching these two guys. Talented riders, both gutsy, both want to win, as you mentioned. When we get this little break here, kind of tell my first exposure to Motocross Nations way back in 1983 when we rode dinosaurs in square wheels. But the point was, my first exposure was in Belgium. Reigning champions were Belgians. They had the 125, 250, and 500cc world champions that year. And, here we come onto their soil. And believe me, I can tell you this right now as we're sitting here some 30 years later, I wanted to spoil their parade in the worst of ways. And we were fortunate for the Americans to do that. It wasn't the most popular decision for our team manager, Roger DeCoster, being on his home soil, but it was. I wanted to spoil their parade, I can promise you. So hopefully Tomac in that case wants to, but on the other side, Roczen wants to win on his home turf.
Of course he does. Oh, nicely done there from both guys, using the rear wheel and just getting a bit of a spring on the bounce there. But again, he's got a good line around there, Tomac. And if he doesn't pass Roczen until the final lap,
Tomac goes into
running wide.
Roczen goes into a defensive mode to cover the line he had Tomac on earlier, and then obviously Tomac took the inside line. The interesting part about Tomac's line there coming up to the finish line, that's the line that Barsha was taking when Desal went around him. Somehow, Tomac's able to make it work where Barsha is, obviously on the bigger bike, not as comfortable getting on the throttle there.
Well, the 75,000 or so fans here out on the track, really willing these two guys on. Most of them, this guy here, number 2, Ken Roczen of Germany. Lap times last time around, well, there was only 2 tenths in it as they came in the line, so pretty much even Stevens within a tenth or so.
And right now, depending on how they finish this lap up, this could be a 2-lap to go board come around. This could be it.
Could be 3 laps still. Yep. And that would play into the hands of Eli Tomac because he might need 3 laps, he might need 2 laps, who knows. But onto the plateau, round the corner jump into the final corner and back onto the start straight briefly. Tomac, there's a back marker ahead of Roczen.
Yeah, this is going to be close coming around. I don't think they're going to get there before the 30 minutes is up. I think you're going to see 2 laps.
I think we are. 22 seconds, 21. You know what? It's going to be very, very tight, and that might be controversial all by itself as to when that goes out, if that's the case. I think we're going to be fine. I think it's going to be 2 laps to go. Yep. 10 seconds to get back to the finish line from here.
I don't think they can do it. But I'll tell you right now, Roczen knows it, and Tomac's got caught behind, took a poor line selection there, got caught behind the lapper coming in, but he's nowhere near as close as he was in the first time. Yeah, he was much closer the last 2 laps.
So your stopwatch going off right on cue there, 30 minutes beeping away.
Sorry about that.
No, it's good because
I didn't know I was going to substitute, so I started it. There you go. So this point right here, again, Tomac's closer. He didn't have to worry about riding defensively there.
This is pressure, though, for Roczen, isn't it?
Oh, clearly. He just wants to run. But, I think he's ridden this track enough that it's probably a little bit on cruise control.
It just comes down to line choice now, though, doesn't it, between these guys? Because, obviously, it's harder to lead than it is to follow. Roczen, he'll go defensive, might get caught out, and Tomac can just capitalize right there.
Yeah,
Nice line there from Ken Roczen just coming out. He was in between ruts and riding right on the crest of it there just to try and stay out of the holes. You look at the ruts and the holes and the bumps just going down there, and obviously as the day wears on, them shadows are just going to create.
Yeah, Tomac looks like he's climbing a few ruts here and there, and that's just part of it, just trying to get on the gas. He's trying everything he can right now. He wants to win this thing in the worst of ways. Certainly doesn't want to make the same mistake coming up, and Roczen makes a little tiny cut, but
shows him a wheel.
You know what? I don't mean that's a poor line, but I think Tomac tried to get underneath him there in a spot they really couldn't have done, and it ended up actually losing a couple bike lengths. But
Simpson's gone down. He's down in 18th place at the moment while we've been watching this. So not a good moto for Sean Simpson then, and Gene B. Nichols in 11th place. But this is what it's all come down to. A little bit slow.
Tomac just made a major mistake there. Feet off the pegs. Got a very poor drive coming onto one of the fastest straightaways, which is a no-no there. That's going to cost you the most time.
This
But
corner
again,
was the danger zone for Roczen, wasn't it? You know, he's obviously thankful that Tomac is not that close as they start the last lap, but we know how hard Tomac can ride here. Number 8 on that red Honda, riding for Team USA. It's all or nothing for both these guys. Every point counts. Remember that, Brock Glover.
Absolutely does. And you know what? Both of these guys want to say they're the MX2 guy that won an overall moto. You know, Roczen clearly wants to do it in his home soil. Tomac's not nearly as close right now. Roczen's on a qualifier lap mentality right now where you're trying to go as fast as you can. And
he's just turned it up here, Roczen.
Yep, and Tomac just made a major mistake right there.
So Roczen then, he thinks he can still go on and win this race. It's for him to lose and Tomac to gain a vital nation's point in the overall classification. In terms of the, I mean, a couple of laps ago, we were looking at DeSalle, 36, 37 seconds down. He's not even over the line. 44 seconds now between those. That's the pace that these guys are pushing.
These guys are running an incredible pace. I mean, Tomac made a huge mistake back there, cost him at least a second, and now he's gained about half of it back. But you remember, you know, we're coming into that final corner where Tomac has shown a wheel almost multiple times this race, and it's coming up very shortly right now. So it'd be interesting to see if Roczen actually changes his line to take that option out of
well, he's
Tomac's
gone inside
hand.
here. It's not the first time, but he knows.
This is the corner Tomac made the big mistake last time. He needs to get through it cleanly to get a drive, and if he doesn't, it's over.
He's good there.
Roczen got a little sideways, didn't seem to lose much drive at all. And
charging hard, Tomac.
I just don't think it's going to happen. He's not close enough. But that's an amazing race for the fans.
Almost off the back there for Tomac.
He just full throttle.
And Ken Roczen.
He did. He took the inside line away from him.
He wins a moto here. He's never done that before. Ken Roczen, Team Germany, picks up a point for Team Germany. Well, they're going to need that going into the last race. These two guys, they race each other every week. He, like Tomac, he knows he's been beaten by the better guy. He was on the rear wheel. He was off and on, and he was putting everything into that, Brock Glover, but in the end, he just fell short by about 0.549 of a second.
What a fantastic race. I mean, these guys were matching lap time for lap time. For instance, I mean, Roczen's fastest lap time, a 1:42.5. Tomac's fastest lap time, 1:42.3. Blink of an eye, not even really anything to brake. There's no bragging rights there. In the last final lap, these guys were matching lap for lap, depending on lappers and line selection, and makes little minor mistakes. And it just was an incredible race, what the fans wanted. Clement DeSalle comes over with a solid third-place finish, something Team Belgium needed. And we'll just see if Barsha gets over the lap here. And Barsha does get to fourth place. So that's, a good result for Team USA, a second and a fourth, and they get that thing in the book. See what happens in the final one for those guys.
Lupino just about to come over the line as well, but Ferris does come over the line in fifth place. Then we've got Tanel Leok in sixth. So good ride for the Estonian. Seventh in the end for Van Hoorbeek. Eighth for Lupino. We wait for Charlier and Tonkov, but more importantly, we will wait to see what the classification is and how it stands and how it's changed after race one. So Brock Glover, after moto number one, the classification was this. Germany on 13, Italy 14, Australia 14, Belgium 15, France 17. Just rough mathematics here at the moment. Belgium are now leading the way on 25, USA on 28, Italy on 36, France on 38, Australia 39, and Great Britain on 50. Ken Roczen comes in. He's more than happy that he's just won a moto. He's done exactly what he wanted to do when he was in the press conference on Friday. Not sure if that's an emotional Ken Roczen winning here or if that's just an exhausted, tired, hot and sweaty Ken Roczen. His girlfriend now, I feel sorry for his girlfriend because obviously she's American and she's wearing two hats this weekend, Brock Glover, supporting her German boyfriend on home soil and wanting, I guess, the Americans to do well as well. It's not easy, is it?
Yeah, I think in her case, she's, it is a little bit torn, but I would have to say she's probably rooting for Ken and his program right now, which is understandable.
That's how close it was.
Yeah, it was a fantastic race. It's exactly what motocross fans worldwide wanted to see. And again, I caution even to get any assumptions before this thing's over because, Team Germany's having to count a 40-point DNF, which is not even, they just need two motos. Anything finishing the race will be a better...
Dean Ferris picks up the Fox Whole Shot Award, €1,000 as well, or is that $1,000? €1,000.
American company, but they're using euros.
He's happy. He doesn't care what happens now to Team Australia. I'm only joking, of course. Don't want to offend any Australians that are up watching this in the middle of the night.
How about Australia?
They're doing great.
They've been fantastic, and they haven't had, the one guy you'd think would be on their team, Chad Reed. Chad Reed's not even on their team, and they're performing at in an incredible level. And congratulations, Gary Ben, and all the team manager and all the team, Brett Metcalf, who in AMA racing didn't even have a ride this year. Had to ride the Canadian National Championship races, which he won.
And a clear bike length clear of Ken Roxon as he came through there. Dean Ferris to claim that Fox Whole Shot Award. $1,000 as well. There was DeSalle getting caught up. We never saw that from the previous angle. So
taking out the camera.
And I tell you what, he has ridden well then to get to third.
He did. It was very, very close to a big problem, and he rode all the way up to third, and a solid result for Team Belgium.
Welcome back to the Talkessel circuit in Tomac, Germany for the 67th edition of the FIM Monster Energy Motocross of Nations. Temperature still hovering just around the 14 degrees. That wind still up around about 18 kilometers per hour. That just means the GoPro drone cam might just get blown around a little bit more, but great aerial shots of the circuit there, and a great crowd here this weekend as well. And they are absolutely banged into this place, enjoying every piece of action we've had on this track, and we've had a lot, believe me. MX2, MX1, race 1, the crash with with Eli Tomac, I should say, when he was chasing down Ken Roxon, of course, the showdown that they put on in Moto number 2. But this is the third and final Moto of the day. And as it stands at the moment, with all scores counted, Team Belgium are on 25. USA are on 28, Italy on 36, France on 38, Australia on 39, Great Britain on 50, and Germany on 54. But if you take away the worst race now, then it changes. America drop to 12 and become the leaders over over Germany, who are on 14, and then Belgium, who are on 17 points. Team Australia would be fourth on 19. And Italy on 22 would be fifth, ahead of France on 26 and GB on 32. So still a lot to play for. Of course, we've still got another 30 minutes plus 2 laps to go. It's about 35 minutes in real terms around what is a very tough circuit indeed. Adam Wheeler from OnTrackOffroad.com joins me here during the broadcast, but before we get to him, we're going to go down to the start line, and Amy Dargan's down there waiting to speak to a couple of riders. Not sure who she got down there at the moment, but I'm sure that'll all become clear in a moment. But Adam Wheeler will more than likely shed some light on what he's been seeing, because I know where he's been stood down there in the valley. Here we go, we're going on the grid.
It's time for that all-important race. It's race 3, and we're going to have a word finally with our last few riders. Gauthier, I'm going to come in. Gauthier representing Team France again. How's it going today?
I mean, it went well. We had some trouble in the start. Christophe Charlie, my teammate, had a crash with a rider, which wasn't his fault, so that's pretty bad. And myself also, I get trouble with the lapper, so we will give everything in the last moto, and we are really looking forward to go on the podium today.
Thanks, Gauthier. Enjoy it. We'll carry on up. We'll have a wander and see who else we can find. It's quite calm, really, for the final race. Let's have a word with Valentin Guyot. Valentin, you're a European 250 champion of this year, but more importantly, how did it feel leading the best riders in the world in that first race?
That was awesome. I make the whole shot, and yeah, after I said, okay, I'm second, I can do, if I'm riding 10 minutes like that for the result, it will be good. And didn't make mistakes, and I take the lead, and yeah, it was a great moment. And after finish 9 for the Team Switzerland, it's very nice. I'm riding with the 350, so it's not my bike. Normally I'm riding 250, but it was very nice to lead the MX of Nation.
Well done, Valentin. A story you'll always be able to tell. Let's have a word with one more rider. We'll have a word with our 7-time world champion, Antonio Cairoli. Tony, we're going to come and have a word with you. Team Italy currently 3rd in the standing as it stands. Are you happy with everyone's performance today?
Sure, that's our goal, you know, finish on the podium. Another moto to go, and yeah, we will do our best to finish on the podium. I will do my best also to win this race, but you know, you never know. It's a tough race, and there is a lot of good riders around, so we will see.
Thanks, Tony. Right, that's all from us down here on the start line.
Thanks, Amy. Monster Energy presentation zone. Obviously, the riders working their way through there, and they're getting ready for their 3rd and final moto of the day. I'm guessing the big hitters on the 450s MX1 guys are going to be up the inside for the start of the race. Adam Wheeler on trackoffroad.com. Thanks for joining us up here. Obviously, we've seen 2 great races so far. MX1, you know, great battle between Roczen and Tomac before. Tomac went and threw it away in spectacular fashion. And race 2, where those 2 provided the entertainment, the fireworks again, with Roczen just edging it and picking up his 4th straight MX2 class victory in all the nations that he's done. It's been great so far, hasn't it? The atmosphere of the place, it's just buzzing.
Yeah, I mean, it's Roczen taking that 2nd victory. It was a case of giving the crowd what they wanted, you know. They went bananas when he came across and actually held off Tomac. But the 250 guys now sitting out. We've had those mixed bikes in the last 2 motos. I mean, 48 seconds ahead of Clement de Sal, the first 450 rider in that 2nd moto. That was quite incredible as well. So we've got, you know, similar bikes, similar technology now on for this last one. And, you know, with 3 nations divided by 5 points, effectively 5 positions, anything could happen here.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, actually, because as it stands at the moment, you know, with all the points counting, of course, Belgium lead the way on 25, USA on 28, Italy on 36, with France on 38, Australia 39, GB on 50, and Germany on 54. But throw away a race, which is obviously what you will do, then it changes things somewhat. America lead on 12, with Germany on 14, Belgium on 17. And then Australia on 19, with the French then on 22, with Italy on 22, France on 26, and GB on 32. So it just changed things a little bit, but obviously as soon as the first lap gets underway here, this sheet that we have here just goes out of the window, because then we're on real time, and you know, it's anybody's race.
It's all hypothetical, isn't it, boy? It's you know, like you say, Charlie crashed on the first corner in the 2nd moto, so it could all be over in seconds, but we're all close together.
The 15-second board is up here for the 3rd and final race of the day. Adam Wheeler.
Whole shot, de Sal.
Whole shot down the inside. Brett Metcalf, if he's down the inside, as he did in the qualifying race yesterday. Monster Energy 5-second board goes up. Dave Nicola, race director, moves up, and look, that number 28, Brett Metcalf, in the 1st position on the gate in terms of there they went, but it's not him who pulls the whole shot. It's Dungey in 2nd or 3rd, but Nagel for Germany. Oh, we've got riders down. Is that de Sal again? It is.
It is.
Oh, Team Belgium. Oh,
and
Todd Waters down as well. Tano Leok and
Sean Simpson.
And Charlier. So just like we had in Franciacorta in 2009, drama as Cairoli bounces his way into 4th position behind the number 7 American of Ryan Dungey.
Is that
so who have we got? Well, basically we know Nagel is there, and Dungey's there, Ken Didika's there, Tommy Searley's there. So it's the big boys here this time around. We wait for him to come over the line at the first time of asking. Number 1, Max Nagel. I didn't see that happening at all. BOBRYSHEV in second, Paulan third, Cairoli, Dungey, Didika 6, Searle 7, Metcalf 8, Walkner 9, Philipparts 10, Guillo, Daruva, Gonçalves, Caro.
And where is Barcia? Where is the second rider for the US?
I wonder if he was down in the pile-up as well. Look, still yet to come around.
37.
So look at the guys that are in that pile-up. Charlier, Simpson, Barsha, Leon. We said Todd Waters. Wow.
2 Hondas ahead. Cairoli in third place. He wants to go for that second year winning the MX1 class. Wow, what a beginning, Paul. I mean, that's just, you know, a sucker punch for the Brits. Sean Simpson broken front brake in the first moto, pretty much ruining a top 5. Yeah, ruining a top 5 result. And now he's you know, going to struggle to get back into the top.
Look at the light bursting it as the riders head around. BOBRYSHEV had his head right down there, and he's didn't want to challenge going into that left-hander. And Cairoli was able to sail around the outside where there aren't any ruts, no big. Oh, who's that? That's
DeSalle.
Yeah, and his shoulder. I think he's picked up a shoulder injury. He was holding the shoulder as he came in. So drama then already. And as it stands, as they came over the line at the end of the first lap, this is what it means. Belgium are on 31. They'll be throwing away
the DNF.
The DNF from Clément de Sal. USA are on 33. Italy on 36, of course. USA can improve on that because Barsha, who's down here at the moment in 36th position, he's hurting as well. Is Clément de Sal.
His hip.
Yeah, he's hot.
The shoulder pull. He pulled it, left shoulder. Can't get his jersey off.
So Belgium, USA, Italy, France, Australia. That's how it stands at the moment. The top 5. We'll come back to that one as the race progresses. But Cairoli all over the back of BOBRYSHEV here. And Max Nagel, well, he got a dream start here in this third and final moto. He wasn't spectacular in moto number 1. I'm guessing they put him on the outside, but he came home in 11th position. That had Germany overall leaders of the classification as Cairoli tries to have a go at the inside of the 31 of BOBRYSHEV. Paulan in 4th for France. Tommy Searle 5th. Dungey 6th. Didika 7. Metcalf in 8th.
Cairoli going! Oh.
We've seen some moments out on track this weekend, Adam Wheeler. And that was nearly another one for Cairoli.
And like BOBRYSHEV has really come in from the cold. We haven't really seen him all weekend. I mean, the Grand Prix winner here in 2011, Cairoli won last year. You know, this is a start that he needed.
Picking up as well. That's going to play havoc on some of these jumps. Certainly the sideways. You know, the wind's blowing down the valley as we look at the image now. This is the start. Clément de Sal is over on the left side, is he? No, he's down the inside in about gate 3 or 4.
Someone takes him out just on the inside here and starts the roller coaster.
There he is. Gets tagged by Metcalf.
No. The back of Simpson comes across.
Okay.
So Simpson and DeSalle are really the touched and started all that.
And he's gone down on that left shoulder, already hurt. Look. And did we see Barsha in there as well?
And Cairoli's been using that wide line like all weekend, and they're just skipping out. Oh,
very, very close.
Yeah, centimetres from that Parts Europe board. That would have really screwed things up for Team Italy because, you know, they're in a pretty decent position, just trying to find out where David Philipparts. He's in 9th place. So Italy, 2 riders in the top 10 at the moment.
This is at the end of the first lap.
Yeah.
Belgium 32, Italy 34, USA 34, France 42, Australia 47. They're really the main guys now that are playing for this Chamberlain Trophy. As Ryan Dungey going down the inside, or is he defending Tommy Searle? He's gone down the inside.
So really attacking using brand new suspension system this weekend. Much happier.
Having a go, looking to go up the inside of Dungey over the finish line. Nothing in it between them. Tommy Searle putting the squeeze. Oh, did he back out of the challenge there? Was he forced by the hand of Gauthier Paulan, who was already in the line ahead of him in the corner? But Paulan, Dungey, Tommy Searle going around the outside of the American here. Oh, bounces his way through, almost over the front, but it was a good move in the end. Ryan Dungey been a little bit out of sorts all weekend, Adam Wheeler.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, you know, I was standing with Steve Mathis and Jason Thomas, just commentating on that first motor pool, and he really wasn't riding how they would expect him to be and how they've seen him riding throughout the AMA series and
Charlier.
Charlier?
Yeah. So Charlier's out. France need a result now all of a sudden as well. And he walks away despondent. I think his bike's damaged in that crash because he seems to be okay. So France suddenly, they fall by the wayside here, do they? Well, that's their result. They're only going to be good enough for 42 points now. They can't get any more than, they can. Gauthier Paulan can come forward.
No,
but they can't.
Well, bearing a disaster. I mean, you've got Belgium, Italy, and the USA on the podium. They're the 3 nations that are going to be slugging it out for the win, and also just the order of the top 3. But, I'm just trying to keep an eye on the Dijkers there at the back. That's essential for the Belgians. I mean, he needs to stay there. He can't afford to
Well,
mess
he's just
anything
found a
up.
way past Dungey, going up Tomac's hill. Round the outside, puts a squeeze.
No, Dungey's got...
Oh, great move by Dijker. Really being duffed up. This time around in the Nations, of course, he's had 3 victories under his belt and a loss in this event in the last 4 years, Ryan Dungey, but he needs to settle down. And I had Brock Glover in, and I think the general consensus is that, again.
Just hit the front wheel there.
Dijker going defensive here, but just unhappy to find a setup on that bike this weekend. He was delayed 24 hours on the plane. He should have arrived Wednesday. It was 24 hours late. He arrived at the hotel 6 o'clock Thursday, so couldn't ride with the guys on Thursday. Had to do his own session on Friday, but not sure where they rode or how they dialed the bike in. But obviously, you come here, you work everything for here. But so far, Ryan Dungey feeling it tough out there at the moment. He's down in 7th, but it's Nagel, BOBRYSHEV, Cairoli, Searle, Paulan, and Dijker ahead of him. That 1 point from Dijker where he just passed Ryan Dungey has put space between Belgium and Italy. Of course, Italy, they haven't won this in a number of years, and they'll be looking to, since 2002 in Spain. I don't think they've been on the podium since then either, have they?
No, it's been a while, isn't it? I mean, Cairoli were close last year.
How dark it is up here. Dijker just in the dark, in the shadow, trying to find a way past the 16 of Gauthier Paulin.
Just look at those ruts and some of the bunch pull. I mean, it's fast and it's really kind of treacherous out there. You've got to be committed, and make a mistake and you're out.
Dijker.
And Paulin as well, just
down the inside, showing him a wheel. Trying to tap the back of the ankle. Nice move. This is where he passed Dungey a moment ago. And he's on the charge, Ken Dijker.
This is the Dijker we saw in 2010, Paul, double moto winner. But,
birthday boy, then.
I wonder if he's got some sort of sign, from Team Belgium, from the KTM guys are saying you need to finish as high up as you can.
Out, I think, was what they would have had to put on the board, because other than that, to say you need to finish doesn't give you enough information.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan Dungey also as well needs to get points. He can't afford to drop too far back. He needs to start having a look at Gauthier Paulin just ahead of him. But the most crucial factor of this race and to decide the overall is going to be the progress of Justin Barcia. Just trying to see where he is, because he's not even inside the top 20. 22 minutes and 2 laps to go. He's made the progress, or he's 22nd. So, and he's doing Simpson, a 1:49 lap time against Ludwig Soderberg, doing a 1:53. So he's going to be getting positions.
Dungey closing in on Gauthier Paulin here. So he needs the points for Team USA. And Belgium need to keep going forward. And Dijker all over the back of the guy ahead of him, which at this stage in time...
There he is, there's Barcia.
Yeah, coming over the line now.
And he's into 20th. So going across the line, he is into the top 20. And
that's Kilian Oberson, 57.
He's been tagged as well.
Yeah, Barcia had actually just passed him as he came over the line there. So he'd already gone into... Barragan, the 73, Oberson, 57.
So we're talking about Belgium, we're talking about, Italy as well. I think if Team USA pull this off, it's going to be through attrition rather than any kind of spectacular set of results here today. Barcia just climbing his way back up, keeping an eye on his progress. He's got 10 seconds to close down to the top 14. That'll be another 6 points.
What about Australia? They can't do anything now, can they? Brett Metcalf, he's on 10 points, and Todd Waters still outside the top 20, is he? The number 30. Just inside, I think, actually. So maybe he is on a charge himself. Yeah, there in 16th. So picking himself up the floor again. 2 races running. Todd Waters, he's believing in himself and looking to do something good for Australia. But BOBRYSHEV is having a great ride there in second. Cairoli, though, Adam Wheeler, we've seen it all the time, haven't we? Tony Cairoli gets himself into a great position early on, and then he's happy to sit there and then assess everything around him before he makes any decisions.
And also First Moto as well. Who is he chasing? First Moto, who was he chasing? Trying to catch somebody. You could see him doing the same thing in the corners, just kind of lining himself up, committing himself to a rut, and then in the middle of the turn, just getting a lot more speed, carrying it through. And it was Roxon, actually. Yeah, just chasing Roxon that way. So I think he'll just be sizing BOBRYSHEV up.
Well, Dijker, though, he's the impressing one at the moment. He's in 4th. Fastest man on track at the moment, 31, Evgeny BOBRYSHEV for the 1:44.550 compared to a 46.347 of Nagel ahead of him, and just a 10th quicker than Cairoli behind him. So holding that station pretty good as he bounces through the ruts at the top of the hill, Ken Dijker.
And Dungey's past Paulin as well, Paul, so that's another point for the US, moving up into 6th.
So how does that affect the overall standings? Belgium on 29, Italy on 33, USA on 34. I wonder if that will correct itself again, because, yeah, Dungey on 6, so they are counting that result. Australia on 44, can't make any effect on the podium now, 10 points off the podium. So, yeah, miracle for those guys, unfortunately.
Well, De Dijk's got to try and get, even, I think King will probably try and make another position. I mean, he's got Cairoli ahead of him. What kind of gap is there? There's 4 seconds. I mean, he's really going to have to do something special. And even then, he's going to maybe add 1, 2, possibly 3 points at a stretch. So, you know, it's all down to Justin Barcia and how many positions he can win.
You know what? I don't think Dungey's out of this yet. I think he's just needing a couple of laps just to find himself here, because he was struggling in Moto number 2. Obviously, in Moto number 1, which is first race. Where did he come home, Ryan Dungey? In 6, and that was an up and down race for him as well. He was outside the top 20 on the first lap, got into 16th, and it was a slow but sure progress towards that 6th place. As we say, struggling with bike setup before, you know, at the end of yesterday, maybe still trying to find his feet. European tracks in their nature are different to AMA tracks, maybe a little bit firmer. They don't get graded so much, and of course you ride for 2 days. So this is a result of 2 days of hard action on the track. And, you know, we say it every year, it's difficult for the guys from the US to come over and adapt to that kind of circuit, you know. But I'm not saying tracks in the US don't get rough, far from it. But also the recovery time between races and the whole thing around it. And, you know, when you're riding, you've got your own bike, your own setup, you know the tracks, you have the information. They come here again with no knowledge. Not sure how much Austria KTM will you know, share with them, or Honda World Motocross will share in that respect, you know, for those guys. But, you know, it's tough jumping on a plane, coming to a circuit you've never been to and expecting to perform. But, you know, I think Ryan Dungey will start to come good in the second half of the race.
And this is the battle for the lead we're watching now. Max Nagel making a fantastic and characteristic start, but like Tony Cairoli just chipping away at that lead, looking for the double here today. It'll be another point for Italy, of course. I mean, that's the frustrating thing, you know, Cairoli's going to win the race. You know, but it's only worth 1 more point for Italy. They need a bit more from David Philipparts, who's having a good ride in 8th place. He's got 3 seconds behind Paulin. He's kind of like the head of that 3rd group. Brett Metcalf 3 seconds, 2.5 just ahead behind Philipparts. So, you know, David really needs to, or win a Grand Prix win here in 2007, really needs to keep that position if Italy want to keep their hopes for the podium alive.
Tony Cairoli was 3.3 seconds behind Max Nagel at the start of lap 7 as they drop downhill and over the Monster Energy finish line jump. I think that gap as Nagel breaks the beam now with a 46.7. Cairoli fastest lap of the race, a 45.4, 1.9 seconds. So just under 2 seconds, that's the gap, the distance that it takes to get from the base to the landing of that tabletop. BOBRYSHEV still looking good in 3rd, but too little too late for the Russian, unfortunately. 4th place is Ken De Dijker for Belgium. He's lapping about a half a second quicker than the Russian of BOBRYSHEV. He might know that he's got some points in hand, but as we look here, not too many.
And Cairoli just right to the back now. I mean, Nagel, of course, hasn't raced the last 3, 4 GPs. I think it's 3 GPs.
Missed a lot.
Yeah, so the Epstein-Barr virus effects. So, I mean, understandably not going to be fully fit, but
I thought he would be good for a race. I'm hoping for his sake and for Germany that this is the race that he's good for, you know, just to go away from here with a top 1, 2, 3 position, something like that. But not sure how much energy he exerted on him in the first moto, but, you know, he had a tough ride in the first race, coming from 27th to get to 11th. So maybe that was where the work was done, and the energy levels are starting to drop now, possibly, because look how much Tony Cairoli, the second rider in shot now as they sweep through turn 1, is closing in on Max Nagel. He's closing in fast.
Yeah, like you said, he won a lot of positions in that first moto. I didn't realise it was quite so many, but you know, Tommy Searle in 5th place. He's 11 seconds adrift of this battle, so if Max does fade back, I mean, he can't really ease off too much. But Cairoli, I mean, this is a matter of time and finding the position, not eating too much roost or, you know, swallowing too much rock there. Sean Simpson a victim of that in the first moto, and actually Nagel not using any handguards there. It's probably quite confident in his starting ability, and they were trying to get out front and not find the back markers too early.
Yeah, I think as well, depends. I mean, bearing in mind he always used to use handguards, even in the sand in a KTM, so obviously knows something we don't. Maybe the guys had all the stones taken out, but doubt that very, very much. But Cairoli getting ready to line up. Max Nagel, number 1 of Germany. He leads the way, and he's carrying that momentum. Switching into the middle is nice and smooth through there, actually.
He doesn't like that outside line anymore. Maybe in the first moto it was the kinder one.
but obviously not been out. They've missed a moto, the MX1 guys. You know, they were the first race and the last race of the day, which is where they are. But we had a great GoPro image of Roxon as he jumped up into this step up in the second moto as the light was starting to swing around to that part of the circuit and the shadows were starting to be created. And, you know, we're in the early part of, you know, coming to the end of summer into autumn now, aren't we? And long shadows and all of that. Thomas Travasini there in the middle with the blue glasses, team manager for Team Italy. Obviously communicating with somebody somewhere down there, but Cairoli in second, all over the back of Nagel. So Germany versus Italy. BOBRYSHEV, the Russian, in third. Didika of Belgium in fourth. He sets his personal fastest of the race. That's 8/10 quicker than BOBRYSHEV. So is he going to be able to close in? Does he know exactly what the situation is in terms of the overall classification? My guess is no, but it's down to the mechanics to give them the information. It's still a difference of 3 points. Belgium leading the way over Italy. And of course, Team Belgium haven't won since the Leerop occasion in the Netherlands back in 2004 when Stefan Evans was riding.
And the US didn't participate that year.
Exactly. Well, they didn't participate for a couple of years, did they? Because of the terror threats and all the rest
2001 they missed when France won for the first time.
Yeah.
And then 2004 was the other time. But yeah, third place, that's where they finished last year, that's where they are at the moment. Barcia just trying to keep an eye on his progress because they need 5 more points, they need 5 more positions. Barcia in 16th, but he's got a... actually, it's pretty... I'm just looking at the timing monitor here. You've got Barcia...
Cairoli around the outside, lights it up, gets alongside Max Nagel. Does he find a way through? Nagel tries to put the squeeze on him. Oh, Cairoli short on the takeoff and the landing. Had to back it off. He won't like that too much. But the Germans loved it, that the fact that Nagel was able to close the door on Tony Cairoli there. They know the situation with Max Nagel. He's not been well. It's Epstein-Barr. He's missed races. He's coming in here. An anxious looking Team Italy. Wait to see what happens here with Cairoli, but in terms of the situation, this would give Italy back a vital point. That'll put them 31. On 31. Takes it down to 2 points. But Barsha, is he over the line? 15th now. Dungey still in 7th place.
I'm just looking down, Paul. I'm trying to calculate the difference between it. It's not looking too good for Barcia. I mean, he's got 7 or 8 seconds for only another 3 positions. So he's going to have to work a lot in the last 10 minutes of this race to gain the 4 position. I mean,
Cairoli, over jump for Cairoli. But he gets the job done. He parks it down the inside. Team Italy are leading the race here, but not the overall classification. He whittles that gap down to 2 points now in the general classification. No wonder Thomas Travasini and everybody down there looking on anxiously. But actually, going back to your Barsha moment, he's 2 seconds off of Matthias Walkner. So there's the point.
No, he's 13 seconds away from helping the US win this race.
Right.
Unless something happens at the front here and Dungey can grab another couple of points. But Ryan Dungey in 7th place at the moment. He's right on the back of Gauthier Paulin. So there's another point there. So Barcia could have his task made a little easier. It's going to go right down to the last lap.
As always, as it did last year as well in Belgium. Let's not forget, you know, it wasn't a done deal, was it really, until maybe a couple of 3 laps to go, I think. But here's Didika. Is he coming under pressure from BOBRYSHEV? I think he might be, you know. So this will also pull a point back for Team Italy if the Russian goes through.
I can't see that happening, Paul. I don't think BOBRYSHEV will be able to pass Didika, will he?
I don't know. Didika was on the charge, and I think, actually, BOBRYSHEV is closing in on it and looking to challenge the Belgian.
Is that Tommy Searle just behind, or has Paulin gone through there?
Well, Tommy Searle was 4 seconds clear, 3.5 clear of Gauthier Paulin, so yeah, still Tommy Searle.
Yeah. Oh, Dungey just on the background there. So Dungey's got another point.
Will we see that? No, this is the over jump from Cairoli, almost landing in them holes, but he had to do it. He had to force himself down the inside to prevent Max Nagel going defensive and taking line 1 through that inside, and that was what it meant to Thomas Travasini. Then everybody down there in Team Italy camp, Adam Wheeler.
It's going to be really tight, Paul. We got like Justin Barcia setting lap times 2 seconds quicker than the riders around him, apart from Todd Waters. So he's looking, I don't know, he could get that another 3 or 4 positions in like the 10 minutes and 2 laps we've got left.
That's how tight it is. America not out of it yet either, but it is very, very tight. Belgium have only got 1 rider in the race, remember. Clément de Sale went down at the first turn. He rode it back. Oh, Dungey off track. Just doing what Dean Ferris did. And he loses a position again to Gauthier Paulin. So all the hard work And I wonder how much the wind had a part to play in that, because it is picking up out on track. So he's got to go after Gauthier Paulin all over again and looking to attack immediately the number 7.
I'll tell you what, but that also might be the light. I mean, just dripping down from the side there, the shadows like we were calling earlier. It's not getting any easy, and Dungey's trying on the inside. He's got, oh.
Very, very tight. It's all or nothing now for Team USA. Italy also trying to fight for survival here. And Belgium, they're leading the way, but De Dijker, he has his hands full. I think he must have been a mistake last time around, because he's opened that gap up again with a 146.9. Look at that, just, getting blown.
Yeah, you called it, Paul. I mean, it was just drifted off there, wasn't he? Wow. Oh. And then these last two calls, that was just frustration there. Just putting the KTM around, trying to keep close to Paulin, because he knows getting past Paulin's not easy as it is. He can't afford to lose more time or another place.
So Ryan Dungey then, Team USA, number 7 on the right. As we look now, the second rider in shot, going after Gauthier Paulin. Conditions very, very difficult. Low sunlight, hazy sunlight as well. Dark shadows, you can't see the lines, the ruts, the bumps in certain areas of the track. As
dust.
You hit, and a little bit of dust just flicking up, but not too much actually. I think the track's been perfect all weekend. You've got to give credit to the guys that have worked hard to change the shape of the circuit. But these guys are pushing on to Tommy Searle, because there was a 3-second gap between Tommy Searle and Gauthier Paulin about 2 laps ago. And these guys, number 16, the lead rider in shot here, Gauthier Paulin of France, and the number 7, the American Ryan Dungey, are closing in. And this would help America's cause if these two close themselves up onto the rear wheel of Tommy Searle and pick him off. That's a couple of points. 1 for Gauthier Paulin, 2 if he finds a way past Paulin, and Searle for Ryan Dungey. Of course, Justin Barcia still down in 15th. He's about a second down on Matthias Walkner. You would expect him to go through there. And he's about 3 seconds down, or he was about 3 seconds down on Valentin Guyot. So, Adam Wheeler. The Motocross of Nations, you've got to love it, haven't you?
We never really established what happened to Barcia in the first lap. Jeremy Van Horbeke just saying his prayers for Team Belgium.
Yeah, he's done his bit. And I tell you what, he had a great ride in the second race. He came from a long, long way down in 27th to get through to 7th. Tommy Searle, Gauthier Paulin, Ryan Dungey, all in the same shot with just over 7 minutes plus 2 laps to go. It's the third and final moto of the day as Dungey shows a wheel to the Frenchman Gauthier Paulin. It's the final race of the day, the 67th edition of the Monster Energy FIM Motocross of Nations, looking to carry momentum anywhere he can around the track. Just look at that dip there, how they go from bright light to darkness.
And it is really like that outside as well. It's not like an effect of the TV. The shade is... I mean, because you can't really appreciate how steep the hills are.
Barcia suddenly up to 12th place in the last lap. So how does that affect? I tell you what, we could be looking at an American victory here in the closing stages. Belgium on 28, Italy 31, USA on 31.
3 positions, Paul. So if Dungey passes Paulin, what we're watching here, that's another 2 places that Barcia's got to get.
And how far is he? He's 4 seconds down, 6 seconds down on Todd Waters at the moment.
Yeah. That's a pretty big gap, like 6 minutes and 2 laps to go.
Over the lap times last time around.
They're so similar. I mean, and also Mark Deruva.
How much was traffic, though, for Barcia, for instance? You know, 48 for him, a 49.
Basically, he's got to go all out. That's 2, maybe 5, 6 laps left as they're coming across the line now. Dungey just trying a different line there at the end of the pits.
Ooh, the back end, I thought, was just kicking out there on the 16 of Gauthier Paulin. Up on the pegs, nicely doing it though through there. He's put some distance between himself and Ryan Dungey. Not a lot. Not a lot. Tommy Searle just trying to break away.
And grouping up on the track, this battle for 5th position. And BOBRYSHEV has held his nerve, held his speed, his fitness as well. Max Nagel hasn't been dropped at the front. Tony Cairoli winning by 3 seconds over Nagel with the Dijker as well. Just having a little cushion in 3rd position. Crucial for Team Belgium. So close. I mean, they're 5 minutes and 2 laps away from winning this 67th Motocross of Nations. First win since 2004, like you said, Paul. 9 years. Is Dungey going to do this? Is he going to get him?
You know what? I have no idea. This has been a close one to call for me. You know, all weekend people have saying to me, poor lad. Front end just getting high and a bit loose on him coming out of that turn. That would have gifted a point back to the Americans. I guess the question you've got to ask here is, you know, when he gets close to Paulin, is he holding up the number 7 of Ryan Dungey? Would he have clear track enough to say, right, I can throw down the hammer now and go after Tommy Searle? again, it's a tough one to call, isn't it? But journalists, I don't know what it's like in the media centre, but the people I've spoken to and asking me, in your experience, who do you think is going to be favourite to win this weekend before we'd even turned a wheel? And I said, you know what, I don't know, but we'll see after Saturday, as is the case. And it was very open.
I called Belgium to win by 2 points. So
Get out.
I honestly didn't.
You can say that now.
I did. It's on record somewhere, I promise. But Justin Barcia, we were saying a moment ago, has responded. He's been shown a sign. He clearly knows what's going on because he's just set a lap time 2 seconds, almost 2 seconds faster than Todd Waters ahead of him. If Dungey can pass Paulin, draw up to the back of Tommy Searle and get him as well, Barcia only needs one more position. I think that will give the USA the win. 23rd or 24th.
You do not want to make a mistake now if you're Tony Cairoli, Ken Didika, Tommy Searle, well, Gauthier Paulin, Tommy Searle, really, because obviously that could hand points to, you know, the protagonists, really, out on the track. Tony Cairoli, what are we looking at here? Belgium leading the way, aren't we, at the moment?
Top
on
5.
28. Italy on 31, USA on 31. One more place pass for Ryan Dungey or Barcia puts Italy, USA in second.
Didika.
Jeremy looking on extremely nervously in pit lane. How do you feel right now?
Yeah, you know, I'm really nervous. Clement just had a big crash in the start and popped out his shoulder, and now all our hope is on the Dijker. So I hope we can put it together. We're still in the lead, and but I'm so nervous. I just don't know what to say. You know, I hope we can do it this year.
Thanks, Jeremy.
A moment there from the Dijker.
Team Belgium speechless, I think.
Yeah. Well, I think down there, you know, for the teams that matter, you know, Belgium, Italy, America, we are looking at a very, very close finish here. Didika needs to regroup after that moment. He had a moment ago. Looks like he's managing to do it.
BOBRYSHEV, so close.
He is. Cairoli doing just enough for Italy. He can't do any more. There's no point pushing. 3.5 seconds, 0.3 of a second. It doesn't matter to Cairoli. He just wants to win the race, and that'll give him the class win as well.
And now Paulin, we can't see this on the screen, Paul, but he's only 1 second away from Tommy Searle. That's the Brit needs to hang on.
Cairoli, Nagel, Didika, BOBRYSHEV, still your top 4. We're looking at Didika here, the number 4 for Belgium, and the 31 in the red for the Russian Evgeny BOBRYSHEV. We've got 2:20, so we're going to be 4 laps to go here because Cairoli already over the line, and I think with a lap time of 1:47, you know, that board is still going to be in the 2-lap board. So 4 laps to go. The closing stage of the race. Barcia is in 12th place for America. We need to keep an eye on that position next time around. Has he found a way through? That's as it stands at the moment. We've still got players to come over the line, of course.
And
so that will change.
Sean Simpson just setting his best lap of the race.
He's having a great ride, actually. He's in 13th after going down at turn 1.
Yeah, we saw him on the ground, so he's following Barcia. So Barcia's like looking ahead of him, but he's also got to look behind because 0.4 of a second is Simpson closing on in that 12th place. I don't know if that affects things much for the UK on 50 points. Overall, Barcia's 2 seconds from Todd Waters, so he's not going to be getting those 3 positions that the US need to win. So where is Dungey? What can he do?
Ken Didika running on empty. BOBRYSHEV, the big tough Russian that he is, he's hounding the Belgian, trying to push him into making a mistake. As we look at him go round about Marco, who looks over his shoulder to see where BOBRYSHEV is. Couldn't quite catch him there, but here's Barcia. He's got Todd Waters right in his sights. This will be to pull another point back. And he is having to ride the race of his life here. He had a great ride in the 3rd and final moto in Belgium last year when they got them on the podium, but he's having to do it all over again. They're only in 3rd at the moment. They're tied with Italy. Another point here would get them 2nd at the moment.
Good battle here, Paul, between Waters. We switched from Cairoli, but you had Waters, Barcia and Sean Simpson together all fighting for that 12th position. Normally you wouldn't be too excited about that, but it's got serious consequences for what the overall is going to be here.
Keep an eye on Barcia. Will he find a way past Waters this time around? Tony Cairoli, though, showing us why he's a 7-time world champion. Gets great start, stays out of trouble, picks his moment and goes, and he's...
assesses everything.
He's on.
Yeah, I mean, in the sand last year, he was brilliant. Hard pack, long ruts, extremely physical and technical here. He's just been superior again, hasn't he?
Well, Ken Roxon was the overall class winner with a 2nd and a 1st, so 3 points for him ahead of Dean Ferris, who was 2nd overall in MX2 class individually, and 3rd for Jeremy Van Hoorbeek of Belgium with, what did he have, 2/7, so 14 points. Tony Cairoli on course for winning the individual MX1 category with a win in Moto number 1 and an outright win here as well in Moto number 2, so that'll be the back-to-back years that he's done that. Hadn't done it until last year, of course, at Lommel. But it's all about team glory, national glory. Barcia has found a way past Waters. This is too close to call, Adam Wheeler.
Yeah, the USA in second place now.
On 30, they still need 2 passes.
BOBRYSHEV passes the Dyker, and it's down to 1. How far away is Dungey from the back of Paulin?
How does it work as well in times of a tie-break? You know, is it the result on the last race? So it might even be that Belgium might still get it if there's a tie-break because of the final race.
Third place. Yeah,
so they can't rely on a tie. They need 3 passes. Team USA to win this Motocross of Nations. A year after losing it, they don't want back-to-back defeats. That doesn't happen very often for them.
I think Georgia in the TV trucks must be tearing his hair out. I mean, where do you follow? Do you try and pick up Dungey? Do you try and see how that's going to affect things? Cairoli's leading the race, but also
Dungey sets the fastest sector, second sector of the race. And Barsha sets his personal fastest lap of the race last time around. So, 2-lap board. Yeah.
Barcia's got over 7 seconds to the back of Mark Daruva. So...
And he's 2 seconds a lap quicker, so...
What? 2 laps to go. I mean, realistically, he could probably get another place because David Philippart's ahead. I mean, Philippart's is tiring. He's on 150s. Barcia's on 147s, but Philippart's, you know, catching in one thing, passing him another. Tommy Sell, we haven't spoken about him much. He's been very solid and consistent.
Yeah, happy with the suspension units on the bike now, of course. There's Paulin.
Where's Dungey?
There he is. Well, he can't go any further forward, but barring a mistake now from Tommy Searle or Gauthier Paulin, because he's being dropped in 7th. He's 4 seconds off of Gauthier Paulin, the number 7 American here, of Ryan Dungey, trying to go around the outside of a back marker.
When we break this down, what are going to be the consequences today, Paul? Maybe Eli Tomac's crash really could...
That was the 16th that he picked himself. That was the race they wanted to throw away. He could have had... I mean, he was going after Roxon for 2nd. That could have been a 2.
Oh! Dungey may have stole the bite then. Just slowed in.
Yeah, you know, going back to it, Tomac's 16 could have been a 2 or a 3 at least.
Yeah.
And we're looking at, you know, what you want to do is throw away Barsha's result of an 11 here, and that would have secured an American
5
victory.
points at least,
yeah. By now. So here's David Philipparts.
So
he is in 10th place for Team Italy.
And...
is it all change, or are we still looking at a 2-point deficit? 28, 30, 33. That's how it stands at the moment. Belgium, USA, Italy.
And this is news in itself because Philipparts, after having a pretty ragged second moto, has picked himself up and, well, I mean, 10th place overall, put the Italians on the podium. You called it, Paul, was it 2002 in Spain? The last time?
Yeah, Italy, 2002, Spain, Belpuch.
The nations that never was. And Cairoli on his last lap now. Oof.
He's just got to keep it on 2 wheels now just to secure a podium for Italy and hope that David Philipparts brings it home in 10th place as well. Just to get them on the podium would be nice to see off the podium for, well...
Is BOBRYSHEV in front of the Dyker? Sorry, to cut you off there. And it's
Tommy Searle and Gauthier Paulin coming into this corner here. They are very, very close indeed, but it's a battle of pride between Searle and Paulin.
Oh, Nagel's gone back. So that's another point for Belgium and BOBRYSHEV.
Oh, I tell you what, Max Nagel, he must have made a mistake somewhere. Is he just a 150 lap time for him?
And BOBRYSHEV's going to go through. That's not going to affect things too much for Russia and for Germany, but it's given Belgium a little bit more breathing space, even if Barcia can gain 2 more points on this last lap.
Because that will be another point for him, won't it? That gives them the breathing space that they need.
It might not need another lap to refresh there, Paul, but I think that's going to give them 3 points.
That will give them 27 now, Belgium.
Dungey's out of it. He's blown it. He's not going to be able to catch Paulin. 7 seconds adrift. Barcia chasing the back of Philipparts. People are moving.
He's only a second down on him. And he's only 3 down on Daruva. And this time in the race, last lap, everyone's thinking, yeah, you know, I'm done, that's it, blah, blah, blah. Barsha will keep on pushing. I wouldn't be surprised, you know, if he does push and get those positions that he needs, he might just steal it from the from Belgium on the final lap here. Well, if they do that, that'll be America's finest hour in terms of this event, I think, or certainly one of them. It'll be right up there.
I think it's too late, Paul. It's over. I think Italy, Cairoli probably going to get the sign that they're so close to a podium finish, but I think it's going to be Belgium. We've got half a lap left. What's Barcia going to do in half a lap? He's not going to be able to gain 3 or 4 positions.
Well, Tony Cairoli, for him, personal satisfaction, you know, obviously try and get Italy on the podium, but he can't do any more than he's done. 2 wins out of 2 in both the races. Tony Cairoli wins the individual classification for the MX1 class, and he is happy with that. That's KTM 1-2. De Dyker comes home in 2nd. BOBRYSHEV 3rd, and I think Belgium have won the Motocross of Nations 2013. A big, big result for the big man of Belgium, Ken de Dyker. He was on his own for the whole race. His teammate went out on lap 1 at turn 1. And Ken de Dyker will be celebrating tonight And so too will Tony Cairoli. The last time he did that, his bike broke at Matterley Basin.
All good news for the Belgian beer industry this evening, I'm sure.
So Belgium then win it on 27, USA on 30, Italy on 33. And look at that.
I mean, we were talking about throwaways. Paul Desal, of course, not even lasting a lap. 39 points for Belgium. That was their throwaway. The worst result being the 8th in the first moto.
So Italy then, their third, 33 points for them, and then Australia, after the success they had in qualifying yesterday, just miss out on 40 points. But, wow, Belgium, winners for the first time since 2004. Adam Wheeler, just really quickly, thanks for joining us up here. An epic race, very climatic in the end, as it turned out, but can't take anything away from Tony Cairoli, but a big performance from Ken de Dijker when he needed it.
Yeah, absolutely. The Belgians needed him to come through after that disaster came to sound in the first corner, and he's delivered, you know. This is one of the reasons why we love the Nations Pool. It can change and chop all the way to the last 2-3 minutes, the last lap, and you know, what a good result. You know, the USA now missing out for 2 years after 7 in a row. And, you know, Cairoli, what else can the guy win? 7 times world champion, MX2, MX1, now taking his country onto the podium.
Red Bull KTM's first and second. But Belgium win the FIM Monster Energy Motocross of Nations 2013. They finally do it after coming so close on home soil last year. Adam Wheeler, thanks very much, and we'll see you next year. Thank you very much indeed. Can I mention ontrackoffroad.com one more time so Tommy can get the shots in? That's at about 10 now, I think. No, good job for Team Belgium. There will be a party in the paddock tonight. Italy are on the podium as well. 3rd overall behind the USA. Thomas Traversini, ecstatic, absolutely ecstatic. Happy with a podium. It's been one of those years for Tony Cairoli, and of course Alessandro Lupino as well. Team Belgium win the 67th FIM Monster Energy Motocross of Nations by 3 points. The USA was second, and Italy were third. The first time on a podium in a very long time for those guys. The last victory they had, and the only the last victory that Team Italy had, back in 2002, Belpuig in Spain. But a big ride from Ken de Dijker. His teammate went out at turn 1. We're going to see the highlights in just a moment, but here's how it went down in the final race of the day. Brett Metcalf was up the inside, so too was Clément de Sal, but he didn't make a good jump and he was already in trouble. He got pushed. He was sandwiched between Sean Simpson and Brett Metcalf. Simpson, de Sal both went down, so too did Todd Waters and a bunch of other guys. Tano Leok in there as well, the 21, but up front it was all action as Max Nagel led the way. BOBRYSHEV was in second, Cairoli was third. He had a moment that he would rather forget as he tried to pass the Russian. Tommy Searle and Ryan Dungey were batting around about 5th, 6th, 7th with Gauthier Paulin for the whole moto. De Dijker, though, was on the charge. He had to. He got the message that de Sal was out and you need to perform. And that's exactly what he did. He pushed on and on. Cairoli, though, was up front when he made this move on Max Nagel at about the midpoint of the race, pushing the German back into second. And at that stage, Italy still were in a chance of winning the overall classification. Cairoli won the race, de Dijker was second, BOBRYSHEV was third, but it's an overall victory for Team Belgium. The first time since 2004, Leerop in the Netherlands. So Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, we were talking to him down in pit lane, or Amy Dargan was during the race, and he was so nervous right now at that time because he was aware that his teammate Clément de Sal had popped a shoulder in that crash at the first turn, and Kenderdijker was having to deliver. Well, he came through good as well. He got second in the closing stage of the race when Max Nagel faded. And boy, it's going to be a noisy one. The skybox there, absolutely full. So 2 years in a row then, Team USA failing to reach the top spot, but they go one better than they did last year, where they were third overall in Belgium at Lommel. And the three bikes of Clement Desalle, Kenderdijker, Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, and there he is flying the Belgian flag. He is finally a winner in this event. He's never been off the podium in all the 4 previous visits to this race. And he is going to be one happy camper tonight, that's for sure. Good lad. Well done, Team Belgium as well. Not an easy race to win this. You do need luck on your side. As we saw with Team USA, could have been winners again this year, but the crash from Eli Tomac in moto number 1, which was MX1, MX2, he was in third behind Ken Roxon. He had that big crash over the hill. He went down from third to an eventual 16th place finish. He was 18th when he picked himself up, pulled 2 back in the final couple of laps, but crashing at the wrong time, wasn't able to make up the ground, and obviously that was the throwaway race in the end, but even still, Justin Barsha coming home in 11th in the final race, Ryan Dungey in 7th in the final race. But the stat that matters, Team Belgium move on to 15 victories in the event. That's 1 behind Great Britain now in the all-time win list. They still stay third, but the Fox Holeshot Award, who did that go to? Max Nagel. You just saw Brett Metcalf, Desalle just squeezing Clement Desalle there. Sean Simpson squeezing Desalle. And he knew straight away something wasn't right. And that was his race done. And he wasn't going anywhere. Had shoulder problems in the past, of course, Clement Desalle. Oh, horrible feeling. Oh, pick it up, son. Multinational event now, this. We had 40 teams entered initially. We whittled it down to 20 after qualifying on Saturday. Well, 19. The 20th team came this morning after the B final, where Latvia went through. And Latvia eventually finishing in 16th place. So, time for the podium, though. Max Nagel just receiving the Fox Holeshot Award from Alex Maillet from Fox Europe. He looks tired. Of course, we'll see a replay. Might not see the whole thing because obviously we're getting ready to do the podium. GoPro just providing great images there. Oh, one just dropped in the right place as well. Look at that. But look how clear-cut he was. Max Nagel, number 1, Fox Holeshot Award, €1,000 for him. Dungey was there in second initially, and then Desalle, and oh, he went down hard and awkward. There's bikes and bodies and the sound of crunching metal just taking people out of the game. Just try and get yourself up as quick as possible. Barsha was down, look. Number 9, that's why he was trying to get himself going. That's why he was down on the first lap. That's the first time, actually, we've seen that. So Barsha, who went out in the first turn. Going to be a noisy podium. We know that already. I know the teams are up there. They're just getting ready to be introduced to the world, as it were. Joel Smets, team manager, a 3-time winner in 95, 97 and 2003. That's just a small fraction of the crowd that we've had here this weekend at the Talkessel circuit in Germany. A rowdy bunch they are as well. That's why Before the podium, though, let's just see how the result ended in the actual race itself. It was a win for Tony Cairoli, Kenda Dyker. Okay, nations classification, Belgium win by 3 points over the USA. Italy, third, 3 points further back. Then it was Australia, France, Great Britain in 6th, Germany 7th, Russia 8th, Switzerland 9, and Estonia 10. So podium time then. Third overall, Team Italy. David Philipparts, Antonio Cairoli, Alessandro Lupino. Team manager, Thomas Travasini, there he is. Himself a former GP racer. Lupino's had a great year. He took his first podium in GPs. Justin Barsha, Ryan Dungey, the second time those two have tasted defeat whilst on the same team. And of course, Eli Tomac. They will know that they probably were the better team on the day, all things being considered, but they had to settle for second place. But the noise is already cranked up. Roger De Costa there, Team USA, a Belgian himself. Kenda Dyker came good in the final race. He pulled off the biggest result of his career, getting home in second. Jeremy Van Hoorbeek and, of course, Clement de Sau. They are your overall winners. Joel Smets, a 3-time winner as a rider and now as a team manager, helping Team Belgium pick up their first nations victory since 2004 in Lierop at the Netherlands. Clement de Sau, that dislocated shoulder, just picked up at turn 1. This victory will go some way to easing the pain that he's feeling right now. Andre Herzog, the mayor of Teushenthal, handing the third place trophy to Team Italy. Second place trophy being handed, I think that was Mr. Vito Ippolito doing the honours there. And our overall winners will get the Chamberlain Trophy. Okay, no, he's presenting all the trophies, I think. But your winners of the 2013 FIM Monster Energy Motocross of Nations for the 15th time in their history. The trophy, the Chamberlain Trophy, presented by Mr. Vito Ippolito, go to Team Belgium. Kenda Dyker, Clement de Sau, Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, and the team manager, Joel Smets. It's been a great atmosphere here at Teushenthal all day long, all weekend long. And finally, the Belgians come good, helped by the massive performance of Kenda Dyker. But you cannot, Dr. Wolfgang Streb, the FIM CMS director, handing gold plates to the Belgian riders and the team manager. But you cannot take away the results, actually, from Jeremy Van Hoorbeek. Moto number 1, he started in 5th and finished in 7th. But the second race for him was the strong one. Starting down in 26, he came all the way to 7th, and that has gone a long, long way to helping Belgium secure this trophy. Team Belgium are world champions for the 15th time in the history of the FIM Monster Energy Motocross of Nations. They secure victory for the first time since 2004. Lierop, the Netherlands, the last time they were able to stand on that top step of the podium. Joel Smets not a member of the team that day, but Stefan Everts was. Commander Sal, though, if you're wondering why he's looking a little bit dejected, he went down at the first turn at the start of that third and final moto. He's dislocated that shoulder, the left one. He pulled in at the end of the first lap, meaning all the responsibility then just to pick up the points that mattered fell to Ken Dodajka, who, fortunately for him, got off to a great start in the race. But Philip Arts, Cairoli and Lupino for Team Italy enjoy spraying the champagne on the podium. The Americans have already gone stage left. They don't like finishing second. So there's Ryan Dungey, Team USA, the Team USA captain, the veteran of the team. 5 nations he's done now, 3 wins, 2 defeats. Justin Barsha, 2 rides, 2 defeats. Eli Tomac, 1 ride, 1 defeat for him. But as we said before, it could have been so much different had Tomac got a result in race 1. Either a second when he was on the back of Roczen and challenging for a possible second place finish. And it could have so very easily been different had he picked up a third. The Clement de Sal chainsaw. But what a great weekend we've had here at Teushenthal in Germany. It's been absolutely electric. The Australians kicked off the weekend with the best possible start, winning the qualifying rounds for the first time in their history. Dean Ferris, Todd Waters and Brett Metcalf were certainly looking at finishing top 5 at the very least. They've done that by finishing in 4th place. But really, they wanted a podium, and they probably believed after yesterday's races they were in with a shot of winning as well. And had Todd Waters, I guess, not crashed in 2 first-turn crashes in his races, maybe he would have been higher placed, and maybe that could have also had a bearing on the overall result as well. But their aim to finish top 5 has certainly come true for Australia. But Team France, one of the favourites, Great Britain as well, way off the pace in the end. 44 for France, 49 for Great Britain compared to the 27, 30 and 33 of Belgium, the USA and Italy. And they'll have to come back and do it again in 12 months' time, of course. Next year's event will be held at Hegens in Latvia. And I wonder if we'll see similar scenes to what we're seeing here. The venue here at Teushenthal lends itself to the crowd and the atmosphere and the noise, the way that it's built up on both sides of the valley. It's going to take an age to get out of there this evening. I'm guessing people have booked the day off work. But your overall class winners in the end, Justin Barsha winning in the Open, Ken Roczen winning the MX2, and TC, Tony Cairoli, your overall individual winner. So another tough motocross nation for Team USA. Team Italy on the podium, as we said, for many years. And, well, knowing Tony Cairoli as we do, likes to party occasionally. Got nothing in the diary now in terms of races, so you bet that's what he's going to do tonight. So too Ken Roczen, the two of them put on a bit of a show last year in Belgium when they had the party there, but these guys have earned it. So too Team Belgium, but what a way to finish. Everybody was on the edge of their seats. We didn't know which way it was going to go, but Jeremy Van Horby, Joel Smets, of course, Clement de Sal, Ken Dodajka, winners for the first time since 2004. Let's see if we can get an interview here. Difficult to see or hear what he said there, but something along the lines of, yeah, obviously it was difficult, but dislocating the shoulder. Right, Amy Dargan's down there. Here we go. She's with Joel Smets.
We have it, our 2030 Monster Energy Motocross of Nations.
Right, here we go. We're getting ready. Here's Amy.
Well, there we have it, our 2013 Monster Energy Motocross of Nations winners, Team Belgium. Joel, I'm going to come to you first. You said to me at the start of this weekend you didn't want to go home with anything less than the win this year, and you've done it.
Yeah, but this was a really a thriller. We knew we had our chances before the last moto, but unfortunately Clement dislocated his shoulder in the first corner, so I went to the first 8 and I was like really desperate, and I was only worried about my rider. But then I walked back 15 minutes later, walked back to the track and saw we were still leading this championship. So it's unbelievable how much up and down the feelings went this weekend.
Many congratulations, Joel. We're going to come now to Jeremy Van Horbing. Jeremy, you had an absolutely brilliant second race. We spoke just before in the pit lane. You were so nervous. How do you feel now?
Yeah, you know, I went down second corner, second race, and I thought this is over. But I put myself together again and came back from 34 to 7, and that was awesome. Ken rode his ass off the third race, and unfortunately Clement dislocated his shoulder, but hey, we did it.
Great job.
Finally.
Well done. I'm going to come and have a word with Ken. Ken, you deserve a massive pat on the back for that final race. How good does this feel now?
Oh yeah, ending the season like this was amazing. The last GPs I had an injury and couldn't do what I was doing before, but now back that last moto, yeah, the first moto not so good, but now yeah, happy. Just amazing feeling to winning so big event.
Well done, Ken.
Thanks.
And we're going to come finally, last but not least at all, Clement de Sel. Clement, not exactly how you wanted to win it, but nevertheless a great feeling right now.
Yeah, yes, sure, but I'm really sad because I had a crash on the last moto and I have pain in my shoulder. I think I dislocated and now it's put back good, but we'll see on the doctor. Yeah, sure, it's good that we win.
I hope you get better soon, and these guys are so grateful to you. Our 2013 Motocross.
I'll finish that off for you. 2013 Motocross of Nations winners, champions perhaps, the word she was looking for, but it is an absolute noise fest down there. Well, that's it from Teushenthal in Germany. My name's Paul Malin. We've had great support, great action out on track. Thanks to Brock Glover and Adam Wheeler for joining me here this weekend. But for Team Belgium, congratulations. You've done it again.